go back-to-back. We know Matt Waltz is trying to do that. Connor Hall trying to get his second Hampton heat under his belt. He's batting 1,000 here at Langley Speedway, so haven't lost yet. We'll see if he can keep up that streak here tonight.
That's right. Connor Hall has 10 starts, 10 victories, including the ZMAX Cars Tour race here back in May. And speaking of Matt Waltz, we talked about this earlier. The average starting spot for a winner is 5th place. Matt Waltz is going to start 5th, and we are just about ready to meet the stars of tonight's 18th annual Hampton Heat 200. Let's toss it trackside to our Masters of Ceremonies from FM 99, Rod Fitzwell. And we're going to be talking to Rod here in just a matter of moments. He is down there getting ready. We see the fans are lined up. They're ready to meet the stars of tonight's 18th annual Hampton Heat 200. We mentioned this earlier, too. New in 2026, this is a 6-tire race, not a 4-tire race that we've seen in the past. So tire management, that is going to be key, because when we come down at lap 100 or so, we're not going to be able to change all 4 Hoosier tires. You can change only 2.
Yeah, and that's something that's going to be a little bit different in how these teams prepare and want to try to attack this second half of the race. You talk to a lot of these drivers and teams, they kind of view this as 2 separate 100-lap races, which, again, is a little bit longer than a lot of these Langley local competitors and what they do on a weekly basis here, but having to approach that and make sure that your car is good to go for the second half, for the changes that this track is going to go through over the course of the night. And oh, by the way, yes, this is America's hottest race, and we do have the sun that's finally poked its head out, but it's been a little bit cooler than what it's been in years past in the Hampton Heat.
You are absolutely right. I was actually joking along the midway and in the pits earlier today. I said, is this our Halloween Speed Fest weekend, or is this the Hampton Heat weekend? Because temperatures were as low as 73 degrees this evening. They've climbed just a little bit. As you mentioned, the sun has come out. If you looked at the forecast all week long, we thought this race wasn't going to happen.
Yeah, it was one of those things which, again, anybody who remembers each of the last couple of years that we've had to deal with some weather and whatnot, but it looks beautiful out there today. And, again, a really comfortable day to sit in these grandstands with the sun coming down, just a little bit of a light breeze, mid-70s right now. It's a really, really nice afternoon, nice evening to be able to take in some racing here from Larry King Law's Langley Speedway.
Indeed, it is. Bill Mullis, the captain, the owner of Langley Speedway, Chuck Hall, the vice president, Vaughn Crittenden, and the entire team, including Terry Harris, have worked hard to get us ready to go after it here tonight at Langley Speedway for a 200-lap race, which, by the way, caution laps will not count in tonight's feature. There will be a midway break at or around lap 100. We'll bring all the cars down pit lane. They'll have about 10 minutes or so to make some adjustments and certainly add 2 new Hoosier tires, likely on the right side. I talked with several teams. They're probably going to swap their left sides to put a somewhat fresher left rear tire on that car, because we know this track, relatively flat, just banked at 6 degrees in the corners, 2 degrees on the straightaway, but the track itself acts as a cheese grater. It eats those Hoosier tires up, so you still got to take care of the tires. Talked with Greg Edwards down there, an 8-time legendary champion for the late model stock car series, and he says you do have to take care of those tires.
Well, and if you talk to anybody as they come to Langley Speedway, what's the one thing that they talk about is that you're never really on a straightaway. It feels like they're very short, but you're always turning here, and I think that kind of plays into what you were talking about, swapping those left side tires, trying to take that left rear tire that's probably taking a little bit of abuse, especially if you're a little bit free around this place, and trying to cool that tire back off, which we hear with these F45 stars, when you cool them back down, get that grip and you can fire right back with it. So we'll see how all that and that strategy plays out here. Again, a little bit of a shorter break when that halfway break comes. It's been 15 minutes in the past in this race. It's moved to 10 minutes here for these teams to make those adjustments to their race cars over the course once we get to that lap 100 break. But again, a lot to compete for here tonight. A lot of drivers, again, they want a Hampton Heat victory. They know how prestigious this race is, how difficult it is to win, but also you think of that Triple Crown, $30,000 available on the line for the driver that's able to have the best average finish through the Thunder Road Harley-Davidson 200 that we had a couple weeks ago here at Hampton. And, of course, when we get to Martinsville in a couple of months, a lot to fight for these drivers. And, oh, by the way, something coming back here in 2026, that free starting spot, guaranteed starting spot in the field at Martinsville. When we get to heats and we're knocking drivers out and we have 80-some-odd cars show up at that race, that is a nice mulligan to fall back on if you need it.
That is a big deal when you get to Martinsville Speedway, because tonight, if you can win this one, you are guaranteed, as you just heard from Blake McAmlis, you will start the Valley Star Credit Union 300 just to make that race. You've done something.
Yeah, exactly. That is a tough field to make, and with late model stock car racing now, it's tough anywhere you go.
Indeed it is. Well, race fans, we are ready to meet the stars for tonight's 18th annual Hampton Heat 200. Let's send it trackside to our Masters of Ceremonies, Mr. Rod Fitzwill.
Welcome to America's hottest race, the 18th annual Hampton Heat. Yeah! Make some noise! We've got a beautiful night for racing! Yes, tonight, 29 of the late model racing's best will battle lap after lap, chasing $10,000. This race is about determination, grit, toughness, sacrifice, and of course, heat. To kick off the festivities tonight, to light the Hampton Heat Trophy, please welcome the defending winner of the Hampton Heat, Matt Walsh! At this time, please welcome the owner of Langley Speedway, Mr. Bill Mullis.
Thank y'all for being here. It's going to be a hot night of racing, as you know, but at least it's not in the air temperature. It's going to be on this track. But what a great night for racing in Hampton, Virginia. I want to thank all our fans, all our sponsors, my staff, NASCAR, FloRacing, and most of all the city of Hampton, which I say is the greatest city in the United States to have a short track, because they have sure been good to me and good to this place. So I'm not going to be long on here. Thank y'all for being here. Good luck to the drivers and teams. Thank you for being here. Let's go racing.
Thank you, Bill. This time, please welcome the owner.
I know, right?
Excuse me. Please welcome the general manager from South Boston Speedway, Brandon Brown. Now welcome from Martinsville Speedway, the Vice President, Karen Parker. And now welcome the Mayor of Hampton, Virginia, the Honorable Jimmy Gray.
Hey, thank you. Well, good evening, racing fans, and welcome to the 18th annual Hampton Heat. I am honored to be here tonight with this amazing event. I have all our council members who are here. Our Vice Mayor will be waving the flag. We have Councilwoman Michelle Farabee and our City Manager, Mary Bunting. I have Councilwoman Carolyn Campbell. Raise your hands, Carolyn. Good evening. So if you're a racing fan in the state of Virginia, this is the place to be tonight. And right here in Hampton at Langley Speedway, this is pretty much what goes on every Saturday night during this time of year. And when we promote our city, we love to talk about that there is no other place to be than here. And we know that Langley Speedway is a big part of that. When you think about Hampton, Virginia, you think about Langley Speedway. And we are extremely grateful for the Langley team, the owner, Bill Mullis, Chris Hall, and all of the racing fans and everybody who makes this happen right here in Hampton. So thank you for being here tonight to support the Hampton Heat. Thank you for being here to be a part of Hampton's big race of the year, and enjoy the 18th annual Hampton Heat.
Ladies and gentlemen, tonight waving the green flag will be Hampton City Vice Mayor Steve Brown. Go ahead, take a bow. And please welcome the rest of the Hampton City Council. All right, race fans, here we go. This is your starting lineup for tonight's Hampton Heat. Starting in the 29th position, driving the number 42 Stud Service Company Buick from South Mills, North Carolina, Chris Horton Jr. Rolling off In the 28th position behind the wheel of the number 25 Glenn Maintenance and Mechanical Chevy from Poquoson, Virginia. Put your hands together for Craig Eastep. Next up is the driver of the number 57 Klawicki Driver Development Toyota from Midlothian, Virginia, Chase Johnson. Climbing into the number 8 Bryant Motorsports Auto Sales Chevy from Chesapeake, Virginia, Cody Bryant. Starting in the 25th spot, the number 1 Rabco Hauling and Excavating Dodge from Reidsville, North Carolina, Jamie York. Starting 24th, climbing behind the wheel of the number 41 Hedgehog Racing Chevy from Madison, North Carolina, Bobby McCarty. Starting 23rd, the number 77 Stallings Classic Cars Dodge from Danville, Virginia, Blake Stallings. Starting in the 22nd position, the driver of the number 78 Juan's Mexican Cafe and Cantina Ford from Hayes, Virginia, Atlee Weiss. Rolling off in the 21st position, piloting the number 8 NASCAR Chevy, number 8 Channel NASCAR Chevy from Alton, Virginia, Lee Pullman. Starting in the 20th position, driving the number 6 the Atlanta Paving and Concrete Chevy from Woodstock, Georgia, it's Brandon Lopez. Starting in the 19th position, in the number 51 S&M Auto Service Dodge from Topping, Virginia, Ryan Matthews. Starting 18th, climbing behind the wheel of the number 20, the L&R Transmission Chevy from Clemens, North Carolina, it's Carson Lofton. Starting 17th, driving the number 51 Super.com Chevy from Taylorsville, North Carolina, Michael Bumgarner. Starting 16th and driving the number 0 Pemberton Forest Products Dodge from Emily, Virginia. Put your hands together for Landon Pemberton. Rolling off in the number 15 spot for tonight's race behind the wheel of the number 22 Town Bank Toyota from Norfolk, Virginia, it's Riley Music! Starting in the 14th position, driving the number 22 Bergeson Heat and AC Toyota from Yaphank, California, Chase Bergeson! Starting 13th, piloting the number 8 Seven Seas Yacht Sales Toyota from Centerville, Maryland, Connor Whittle. Starting 12th and driving the number 03 Best Repair Company Dodge from Chesapeake, Virginia, Brendan Butterbean Queen. Rolling off in the 11th, driving the number 88 Cherokee Boys Chevy from Mooresville, North Carolina, Caden Krevel. Starting 10th, driving the number 77 Mike Bledsoe Mechanical Chevy from Winston-Salem, North Carolina, Trevor Ward. Starting 9th, driving the number 10 WG Speaks Dodge from Halifax, Virginia. Put your hands together for Trey Cruz. Starting 8th in the number 9 Hampton Roads Plumbing Toyota from Yorktown, Virginia. Make some noise for Aiden Millett. Starting 7th tonight in the number 00 the Metacorp Ford from King William, Virginia. Let's hear it for Chase Burrow. Start Annie Glass Chevy from Poquoson, Virginia. Please welcome Greg Edwards. Starting 5th and once again winner of last year's Hampton Heat in the number 2 Waltz Engineering Sales Chevy from Carrollton, Virginia, Matt Waltz. Starting 4th and driving the number 77 Town Bank Chevy from Hampton, Virginia, Connor Hall. Behind Connor, in the number 26, Clarence Steakhouse Toyota from Danville, Virginia, Peyton Sellers. Starting on the front row, driving the number 41 RC Paving and Son Chevy from Chesapeake, Virginia. Make some noise for Woody Howard! And your pole sitter. Starting on the pole for the 18th annual Hampton Heat in the number 31 Club Tails Toyota from Fredericksburg, Virginia. Let's hear it for Mr. Cole Bruce! Now let's have a big round of applause for all your drivers tonight in the 18th annual Hampton Heat.
Had a chance to meet the stars for tonight's Hampton Heat 200, the 18th annual edition, and a full field of drivers ready to go. 29, as we mentioned, a good mix of Fords, Chevrolets, Dodges, and we even got one Buick in the field, but so we're ready to go after it here this evening.
Yeah, and again, you bring up a good point there in terms of the different engine combinations that a lot of these teams have, and especially coming here to Langley, you know, there's a couple of different options for these teams, and some of them want a little more horsepower, and they were able to take advantage of that and may have helped their qualifying effort, but the big name of the game is saving these rear tires, and some of these teams, they'll take that opportunity to maybe run a crate motor or something that produces a little bit less power, so they're being a little bit easier on those rear tires and thinking about what they're going to do on the long run.
Save the rear tires at the beginning of the race so you have them left at the end of the race. We mentioned earlier, 6-tire race. They'll come down at or around lap 100 and make those tire changes, likely to the right side of the race car. We'll have 2 pit reporters that'll carry all the action with us here tonight. Adam Welbrock and James Pike. They're down on pit road getting ready, and we're just about set. The moment has almost arrived. We're going to have our invocation of the national anthem, and we got a Los Compadres U-Cars race in between.
Yeah, I was about to say it's a full program here at Larry King Law's Langley Speedway tonight, and especially for these drivers, again, you take advantage of what this event is going to be, especially if you're a U-Car driver. The stands are packed. Everybody's lined up. They know this is the biggest night. So even for some of these drivers that maybe they're struggling a little bit, they're not having the season that they want here at Langley Speedway. This is a night that you can turn that all around. You can go to victory lane here. You'll remember that the rest of the year for sure.
Absolutely. Leg 2 of the Virginia Triple Crown coming your way here this evening. It's a big night of action. Drivers want to win here. This place is hard to win. We talk to drivers who finally make it to victory lane. They say it's not easy.
Yeah.
So if you can accomplish that, you certainly have done something. And one of the drivers that's hoping to get his first Hampton Heat 200, we talked about it, 8-time track champion Greg Edwards has yet to get a Hampton Heat. He'd love to pull it off here tonight.
Yeah, he would. There's a lot of drivers in the field. And you mentioned there's so many that have come back, and they've been a part of this for a really long time. What was it, last year we had about 12 or so first-timers to this event that we're running, and we only have 6 this year. So there are a lot of drivers that they've been here before, whether they've been here on a weekly basis or they've run some of these big shows, that are looking to check that box. And again, this is such a hard race to win. I feel like anywhere late model stock car racing you go now, it's so tough to win, and the cars are so close, the teams are so close. But only the best of the best are going to get it done tonight, and Greg Edwards being one of those that hasn't quite checked that box yet, despite all the success he's had here tonight.
That's right. So we're going to keep our eyes on that. Again, a big night of racing coming your way here. And again, we're just about set here to go after it at Langley Speedway. And I believe we want to go send it trackside. And we'll be back after these short messages. We're back at Larry King Law's Langley Speedway. Live flag-to-flag coverage on FloRacing here for the 18th annual Hampton Heat 200. Moments away from continuing pre-race festivities here this evening. And again, we're just excited to be here, and we're glad to have Butterbean. Lots of crowd reaction from Brendan Queen. He has, of course, picked up 3 Hampton Heat 200 victories. And oh, by the way, he competed last night at Lucas Oil Indianapolis Raceway Park at the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, where he competes full-time. Had a good night, finished inside the top 20, but arrived here pretty early today.
Yeah, well, and again, I had to take advantage of all the track time that he could try to get. Again, had about 5 or 6 hours that these teams were able to practice yesterday. He was one of a few that weren't able to be here yesterday and take advantage of that time. So want to get acclimated with his car. He knows how to get around Langley. I don't think there's any catch up in that, but of course, like everybody, just wanted to, get those few laps, get it under you, and figure out what kind of car you have for tonight.
Absolutely, a 3-time champion here at this racetrack, currently 14th in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series point standings with 4 top 10 finishes. Tonight, he's going to roll off 12th in the starting lineup, so would not be surprised to see him march his way to the front pretty early. He's pretty good, and I say pretty good, he's really good at tire management. He knows how to conserve those tires. One of the years almost went a lap down where we made the comment, is something wrong with Butterbean's car? And the next thing you know, he was right at the front.
Yeah, and again, that's a strategy that I don't think we're going to see as much of moving forward, just because these F45 Star tires, they don't have that same softness, they don't have the same wear as what it has in years past.
Let's go trackside.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time we ask you to please rise and remove your hats as the Langley Air Force Base Honor Guard present our nation's colors. Please remain standing as Jim Foster delivers tonight's invocation.
Good evening, everyone. Let's pray together. Father, we thank you for this beautiful evening for racing here at Langley. We appreciate the excitement of the Hampton Heat and this Triple Crown Series. And we ask you to continue to bless it. Father, we appreciate so much our freedom in America this evening. We pray for our men and women in the armed forces. We're reminded so much being right here at Langley Air Force Base and throughout Hampton roads. Lord, protect them and bring them home safely. This crowd, Father, there's opportunities for healing and restoration of health. We trust you for that. We thank you for all the hard work of the Langley Speedway staff and others that made this possible. Father, we thank you for all these race teams, all the honors, all the owners represented, all the sponsors represented. Pray for safety, God, for the drivers, their crews, our track personnel, and all these great fans. We ask you to bless all that will take place this evening. We give you all the honor and the glory. In Jesus' name, amen.
Now here to perform our national anthem, please welcome Dina Waltrip. Let's hear it for Dina Waltrip. What a great performance.
Well, pre-race, pomp and circumstance, it's over with. It's just about time now to go racing.
Yeah, these fans are fired up. We're ready to go. Again, you cars are going to put on a great show, and then it's all about 200 laps later on tonight, and the anticipation is building. You can feel it in the air.
It's electric right now. The grandstands are full. The suites are full. The infield is full, and we're glad you're tuned in to FloRacing. Don't go anywhere. The start of tonight's festivities after these short messages. We're back at Larry King Law's Langley Speedway for live flag-to-flag coverage of the 2026 or 18th annual Hampton Heat 200 in Hampton, Virginia. I'm Brian White along with Blake McCandless. We are fired up to bring you these Los Compadres U-Cars, which are here along the front stretch, just about ready to go to battle here tonight for 35 laps of action. It'll be race 7 of the 2026 campaign for this series, and the point standings leader coming into tonight is Mikey Chin in car number 3. Mikey does have the most victories, 3 checkered flags, including the most recent one, which came back on July the 11th. The driver that is second in the win column with 2 victories, he sets third in points. He's actually tied with Zach Herdline, and that is Thomas Fontaine in the Mosquito Joe 64 race car. And then the other driver with the victory is Kyle Davis, which sets P2 in the championship chase. And all of our top 4 drivers in the standings separated by just 20 points coming to this event. And this is grassroots racing at its best when you can put these U-Cars out on the racetrack.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where, you know, everybody, especially these good cars that come here week after week, they're so close, and just very minute things make a big difference between being able to go to victory lane or you know, in and up second or third. And because everybody's so close, that's what I love about these championship battles, right? They move through the year, and it's just one position here or there throughout the year and a couple of races that end up making that big difference. And seeing who brings it tonight, and again, much different, I think, than what we're typically used to seeing, not only here at Langley, but especially for this time of year. So a true challenge to see what these drivers can do. Again, when the lights are brightest, when the stands are packed, let's see who could show up here tonight.
Absolutely. If you're just tuning in to FloRacing, or if you're just getting here to the racetrack, the Hampton Heat 200 will follow this Los Compadres U-Cars. Let's bring in another member of our broadcast team down on pit road, Adam Welbrock. Adam, I know you're fired up. We've been here all weekend long, and now the moment has arrived. We're ready to go racing.
We are ready, my friend, and as I look at the grandstands, I don't think we could fit another person up there. It is slammed here at Larry King Law's Langley Speedway, and we are ready to go racing. It's a very warm pit lane. It's not hot here for the Hampton Heat 200, but we're very excited because it's dry, it's comfortable, and there's 30 fast late models here ready to put on a show. But first, the Los Compadres U-Cars are ready to put on a show. 35 laps, Brian, 10 laps longer than their normally scheduled distance.
And this is a big stage for these competitors. I mean, every Saturday night's a big stage, don't get me wrong, but tonight there's a little extra on the line. The grandstands are packed, as we mentioned earlier, the suites are. A lot of folks are tuned in because they're ready to see the Hampton Heat 200, and by the way, they get a great race to start the night out with.
Yeah, it's going to be fun, and seeing these cars that, you know, when you look at the late models and how low they are to the ground and how long they've had to build on this platform, you know, they're wheeling it in those type of race cars. When you watch these U-Cars, man, they are on the edge. These cars are not easy to try to get around this racetrack. So it's a lot of fun to watch these drivers work and try to race one another in them.
Indeed it is. Let's let you understand what we're watching at this facility. It's a 0.4 of a mile oval, .397 to be exact. This track is banked at 6 degrees in the corners, 2 degrees on the straightaway, so a relatively flat course. But Blake, it's plenty wide to go 3 wide racing, and we'll see that throughout tonight. This track opened up back in 1950, celebrating its 76th season of racing.
And again, one thing that I love about this racetrack is, one, it feels flat. You could put the 6 degrees of banking on there, and you'd fool me and a lot of drivers there. It feels completely flat, but loving to see how these drivers attack these corners, and the fact that the apron here is part of the racing groove. You see those lines down there. They don't really deter anybody from going down there or trying to use the less banking, the shorter way around the racetrack, or that paint that's laid down there. Again, that's where a lot of that grip is found, and if you have a car that's not turning so well, a lot of drivers will try to use that. You can even see here in turn 1 how much rubber's already been laid on that paint throughout the course of the several hours of practice that these late models and other drivers have had. So again, it's a really unique but very fun challenge, regardless of the vehicle that you're racing here.
Let's take a look at the starting lineup for tonight's Los Compadres U-Cars. Mikey Chin, your point standings leader, has won the pole after a Euro qualifying session earlier this afternoon. Thomas Fontaine will line up to his right elbow. Suya Saine will start inside of row 2 with Jeremy Jones in car 66 firing off in 4th. Mike Joyner will take row 3 on the inside with Michael Walters in car 3 on his right elbow. George Englehart III will fire off inside row 4 or P7 with Kyle Davis starting 8th. Row 5 is Jeremy Archer in car 38 with Ron Strickland in the 26th entry starting P10. Lacey Hogg will start inside of row 6 with Joe Gray starting to her right elbow. Again, the distance is 35 laps, or let's set this correctly, 30 minutes. So if we have a rash of caution flags, the clock will be on. We will only have 30 minutes to complete all 35 laps of action, and caution laps will not count in this feature. Adam, who's the driver you have your eyes on here this evening?
I tell you what, Brian, you can't look any further than pole sitter Mikey Chin. He's red hot right now in 2026. The driver of the 3 has the most wins coming into tonight, and the driver put it on the pole. He's looking for win number 4 on the year, and I tell you what, he's got the best seat in the house to do it. Keep your eye on the number 3 machine as he goes for win number 4.
I'll also keep my eye on the 42 of Chris Horton Jr. Again, he's running in the late model class. He was making a couple of laps there, so we'll keep an eye on that situation and kind of see, you know, they're allowing him to run some laps clearly for something that they were trying to figure out. So we'll see if maybe Adam Welbrock can't find out more about that situation.
I believe Adam was telling me an engine change was made a little bit earlier on the 42 car, so they were shaking it down. Go ahead and tighten the belts. We're ready for our Los Compadres U-Cars. Mikey Chin, Thomas Fontaine on row 1, and we're under the green flag. The Los Compadres U-Cars are underway. They're 2 by 2, Adam, in turns 1 and 2.
And it's a good start for pole sitter Mikey Chin, the 3 car out in front by a car length, but Thomas Fontaine's going to do one better. The 22 car, formerly driven by car owner Mad Dog Bill Aker, is letting his driver take a chance at it here on the number 22. He's going to lead lap number 1.
A little further back, they were almost 3 wide, but we are side by side for the top spot. On the inside is Mikey Chin, but not giving up is Thomas Fontaine. He is fighting on the outside. He's trying to take that top spot away.
Yeah, and it's a really good race right here because you see Fontaine trying to put his car all the way back down to the bottom. He's kind of straddling both lanes right now. But Fontaine able to hold him at bay on that high side, just has just enough momentum to take away the exit of that 3 car, but not going to be able to do it off of turn 2. Chin takes the lead.
Thomas Fontaine said, okay, I'll go to the bottom of the racetrack and try to make the pass that way. He has had to settle for a runner-up the last time out on July the 11th, which was their last race. And his first or last win, that is, came back in mid-May. So it's been a moment since Thomas Fontaine has found Dale Emmons victory lane. He'd love to close that gap and get it done and try to close back into that points lead. He enters this race 20 points back, as we mentioned earlier, tied with Zach Hardline coming into tonight's races. Watching all these cars flash by here, bright blue skies, a few puffy clouds overhead as the sun will begin to continue setting in turn number 3, but we're watching Mikey Chin. He's putting on a great show here at the moment.
Yeah, just looks really comfortable up at the front of the field right now, able to kind of pull Fontaine away. Again, they've broken away about a second. This is a good side-by-side battle going on right now for position number 7. That is Gray in car 48 on the bottom, trying to get by that 3 machine of Michael Walters. And looking like, yeah, you can see plenty of room given there. Walters not going to have enough to try and cross him back over as 48 of Gray able to make his way by.
That's right, Joe Gray will make the pass. The driver from Emporia, Virginia. He was the 2025 Rookie of the Year in the Enduro Series, sponsored by Repair Tech, has taken over position number 7. He's a rookie in this series this year, looking quite racy as he exits turn number 4, and we're approaching lap number 7 here. Looking a little further back, you see Ron Strickland in car number 26. He's being bypassed by the car to his right elbow. That is the 83. To make that the 38, correction of Jeremy Archer, another rookie competitor, as Ron Strickland will actually go by that competitor as they race back to turn 3. And you see that 38 car trying to close into that back bumper as they work off of turn number 4. Everybody keeping those cars pinned to the bottom of the racetrack as they go back to turns 1 and 2. Meanwhile, a little bit further up, we're watching another battle.
Yeah, this 52 car, all 4 tires that are on the apron right now. Again, that's something we've seen from your leaders, that they've kind of put those left sides down there, but not running all 4 tires. That 52 car not shy at all about trying to do that. Kyle Davis taking away that 3rd position right now from Sandy there in that 55 car, rookie competitor here, as they try to chase him back down. But yeah, it seems like that ideal line is kind of straddling it, putting in those left side tires down there, keeping your right sides up for just a little bit of turn, a little bit more banking. But again, you start to see those cars sliding around. That's what I love about what they have to do. That's Jeremy Jones in the 66, kind of swinging out the back end of that race car. Got his hands full a little bit, heating up those tires, which again, for these drivers, like you mentioned, a little bit of a longer distance than what they're used to going on these tires. So having to make them last just that little bit longer going to be very important in this race.
How about that? Joe Gray just made a pass on the high side for the 5th position, getting by the 70 of Mike Joyner. So another pickup for Joe Gray, the rookie. He's going to try to catch Suyu Sane, which is quite a distance ahead of him as they work back now to turns 1 and 2. Look at that 52 car of Kyle Davis as we have a new race leader. Thomas Fontaine has been able to get by the Mikey Chin car and take that car to the point. He tried lap after lap on the high side, decided to settle back for just a little bit, and thought methodically, and he was able to make the pass for the top spot here at lap number 13.
Yeah, was just watching that gap. It was about 0.2 of a second or so, and then Chin had a huge moment, lost about half a second. But I don't think, again, I think that was just one moment because he looks like he's about ready to try and reel him back in here in the next lap or two. So maybe getting around lap traffic or just getting a little bit free right now. And there is some of that lap traffic that Fontaine's having to deal with. He's going to have to go around the outside of that number 83 car of Lacey Hogg and is able to do it.
Indeed he is. Thomas Fontaine will work at lap number 15 as he flashes by the start-finish line just ahead of Mikey Chin. Now they have gapped the 3rd place car of Kyle Davis, but a tip of the cap to the 52 car, which is just outside of your frame. He started back in 8th spot, and he has had a net gain of 5 positions in the opening 15 laps of this feature. But right now, it is in command. This race is with Thomas Fontaine in car number 22 over the number 3 of Mikey Chin. So Thomas Fontaine trying to tie the car number 3 for the most victories here in 2026. We count points, Blake, all year long, but for some reason, once you get in the summer stretch, you know you're in the second half of the season, you're really counting points now.
Yeah, you are. And, you know, if you got to this point in the year, it's because you haven't been tearing up your equipment. You've been consistent throughout the year. So this is when it gets really tough. You start to narrow in that championship picture. And again, when it's just one position here or there that makes that little bit of difference, every race seems to matter that much more. And exactly why Chin wants to try and chase down Fontaine for the lead. But also, we still see some great racing back here. We talked about Jones getting that 66 car sideways a little bit. You continue to see it as he's sliding the back end of that car on entry, but still enough to hold off the 55 just behind. And Gray, also the 48 car, has made some great work. What we were talking about him being back in 8th or 9th, he's up to the top 5 right now, running some really competitive lap times.
That's right. Joe Gray started 13th in tonight's feature. The rookie racer has caught the top 5 in this field. Suyu Sane right now being scored P5 behind the 66 race car as they work them back. That's the Jeremy Jones car back to turns 3 and 4. So he's had a nice pickup without the aid of a caution flag. That tells you how fast car number 48 is. Meanwhile, battle for the lead down the backstretch. Here comes car number 3, Mikey Chin. They make contact. The 22 race car of Thomas Fontaine washes up the racetrack. They're still side by side going to turn 1.
And that's something we'll see throughout the night. And in multi-groove racetrack, you have to really trust where that driver's going to be. And if somebody's beneath you and they're using a bit of that apron, you're really putting a lot of trust that they're going to hold that race car there. They make contact again into turn 3. You can see some tire smoke between these two. Davis is about 2.5 seconds back as Chin able to wrestle back the lead. But let's see if Fontaine thought that was a kind way to take the lead. He'll try to cross him up, give him a little bit more off of turn 2.
Bouncing off of one another, fighting for the top spot. We're coming to just 12 laps to go. It's been caution-free up to this point. Mikey Chin has gone back to the point. He's been able to muscle his way around Thomas Fontaine and lead this event while he's catching the George Englehart 3rd 29 race car as they work off of turn number 2. Thomas Fontaine is not giving up. I don't think this race is over quite yet for the lead.
No, and if you're Joshua Chin with just a little bit of contact there, Fontaine is going to repay that favor and not going to wreck him, but maybe use him up a little bit if he can. So if you're Chin, you were able to drive away earlier, you're hoping for the same thing here. They're going to split the lap traffic this time. That's going to help Chin on entry. It's going to hurt him on exit, and Fontaine's going to have another run at him. You can see Chin running a little bit lower to block that line and get around some of the other cars into 1 and 2.
Here they go back to turns 1 and 2. We're now within the final 10 laps of this feature presented by Los Compadres. Right now it's the pole setter Mikey Chin He is trying to best Thomas Fontaine and pick up win number 4. They flash by the start-finish line, less than a car length separate the top 2. Here comes Thomas Fontaine. He is trying to mount a challenge as they work off of turn number 2. Not quite there at the moment. He'll follow on the tire tracks of the number 3 Bryant Motorsports race car as they race him back, coming now to just 8 laps to go. Can Mikey Chen hold on? This is a dandy of a race.
It is, and you know, certain race car drivers, oh man, Fontaine will slide there through 1 and 2, but he's able to maintain some of that momentum. Oh man, he had to back out a lot off of turn 2. You know, some race car drivers, they see a clean racetrack and they're able to go to work. Some, they need a little bit of a rabbit to chase in front of them, and I think that's been the back and forth between these two. As soon as they get in second, all of a sudden they're able to look and see where that front car is maybe struggling, where they're able to make up some speed, and they're able to make their car come to life. So we'll see if Fontaine can recover. He had a big slide that last lap, hurt those rear tires a little bit. Let's see if Chen can stretch his lead out. 6 to go this time.
The King William, Virginia car number 22. Thomas Fontaine is trying to close in. We're going to look at a FloRacing replay from just a little bit ago. Look at the 48 race car. This is Joe Gray as they are making the pass here down the backstretch. You see the 66 right there beside him. That's Jeremy Jones. They're trying to bypass the 83 of Lacey Hogg. There's CU Signing in the blue 55 car just ahead as they race back to one. The Sonny car was sideways going into the corner. So some big-time racing, and here they go one more time. This is CU Signing, who right now has the 5th spot. Joe Gray is there.
Yeah, you can see those gloves working hard behind the wheel. The number 55 going into 1 and 2, sawing that wheel back and forth, trying to hold on to this position as we come down the stretch with 4 laps to go. Gray, who's been so strong, looks like going to be able to take away that 4th position. 3rd is quite a ways away with 4 to go. But Gray able to complete that pass. 3 laps to go. And nicely done there for Gray.
Indeed. How about that? Joe Gray again started way back in 13th spot. The car slipped. Here comes CU Sane with the crossover move in turn 2.
Yeah, that's the last thing you need is a mistake like that. Worked all those laps to try and get by. Oh, tried to build that up in the middle of the corner. Just wasn't able to time that right. So we'll see at the 55. Sane again. Can they hold on? 2 or 3 car lengths, so separate your front leaders. There's a little bit of lap traffic as they're coming around to 1 to go.
Final lap of action. The white flag has been displayed one more time around. Here comes Mikey Chen, who tries to hold on. Thomas Fontaine drives it in hard in turns 1 and 2, realizing this is the last opportunity he has. Here comes car 3, running through turns 3 and 4 as your point standings leader. Mikey Chen picks up win number 4 of 2026 in the Los Compadres U cars. How about that? Your pole setter gets it done. He had the pole, led the opening laps, got bypassed by the Mikey Chen car, making it the Thomas Fontaine car, but he ultimately was able to get back by and get the victory.
And Joe Gray was not able to make up that spot after that big slide. But just a couple of laps ago, had to settle for the 5th position. Chen, Fontaine, and Kyle Davis, your top 3, but what a show those top 2 put on. Interested to hear Mikey's thoughts after this one.
35 laps of racing. All 35 laps were under the green flag without the aid of a caution flag. And the big storyline there was Joe Gray, without the help of a caution, was able to go from 13th to 5th, bypassing those cars without the aid, again, of the Hydraulic Repair Corp Choose, or that's the V that's painted just prior to the start-finish line. There's your race winner, Mikey Chen, taking the checkered flag out the driver's side window to celebrate with the race fans here this evening after a great performance. He didn't run away and hide. I mean,
yeah.
He had to work for this one and actually had to follow in the tire tracks of Thomas Fontaine for several laps.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Great introduction to Hampton Heat Night here. 2 drivers that had really similar race cars and showing, again, like you said, the multi-groove racing that you could see here at Langley Speedway and how much fun it can be.
Indeed. Car 3 delivers, picks up win number 4. Just 3 drivers have won in this series, but what an exciting race. Didn't have to see a crash fest to watch a great race. We saw drivers duking it out there for the top spot. They were mixing it up all throughout the field. We saw them go 3 wide, a little further back, and at the end of the day, Mikey Chen from the pole position was able to hold on after getting bypassed, but he will ultimately pick up the victory here this evening, pad that points lead. He's going to drive that car into the checkered board area at the start-finish line and celebrate as tonight's race winner. And let's toss it trackside to get the thoughts from Mikey Chen.
Driver 3 starting to make a habit of parking this thing in Dale Lemons victory lane in 2026. He's going to add another win sticker to the rear window. Win number 4 on the season, pads the points lead. And the Bryant Motorsports team ready to celebrate here in the U-Car division, presented by our friends at Los Compadres, who are here on site selling delicious food. And they're going to chase a Hampton Heat win with Cody Bryant, a brand new race car for driver 08. Coming up next, what can you say about Mikey? Started on pole, lost the lead, was able to kind of regain things, get the car back underneath him. The car just got better over the long run. He was able to take the fight back to Thomas Fontaine. He finds himself back in Dale Lemons victory lane for the 2nd consecutive time, 4th time overall this season. What a first half of the season, again, it has been for Mikey Chen and this organization as they chase their first championship with this driver. He's getting a cold drink of water down here. He's already chatted with the race team, and he's going to climb out for the 4th time in the Los Compadres U-Cars. Mikey Chen gets it done. Ten extra laps, man, didn't seem to matter, but Thomas and the boys brought some fight to you. What changed there through the second part of the race? Seems like this 3-car really came alive.
Well, you know, he was racing me kind of hard early, and I knew he was going to try to push the pace, get me to burn my stuff up. So, you know, I just kind of let him go and let him set the pace and just see what happened after that. Trying to protect his points lead, you know, don't want to do nothing stupid. It's always fun. It's always fun racing with Thomas. He ain't going to wreck it, but he going to give it to you. You know what I'm saying?
Well, to be fair, you guys gave it back down there in 3. That was a lot of fun. Talk me through the 10 extra laps. How did you guys adjust for that coming into tonight?
I go to the gym every morning.
All right, Mikey, anybody you want to give a shout out to on this number 3 Honda?
I'd like to give a shout out to Langley Speedway for showcasing the U-Cars tonight in this, you know, prestigious race. It's an honor to be out here. So I want to thank Charlie Bryant, my wife, my kids, Peyton and Ryan, and my grandkids, and my whole crew here. A lot of these people make it happen. Roger Sawyer, Mark Powell, Phil Nelson, Britton, Justin. Hey, that's about it, yeah.
Congratulations, my friend. Mikey Chen gets his 4th win of the season. Now the pressure's on. It's up to Cody to try to even out his teammate, Brian.
How about that? Mikey Chen, one happy driver in front of this tremendous crowd, wins this event. It was a fun race to watch. So Mikey Chen continues the celebration down in Victory Circle. He was able to beat Thomas Fontaine, who had to settle for 2nd tonight. Kyle Davis was 3rd. Suyu Saine in car 55 was 4th. And Joe Gray from the back to finish P5 here this evening. Zach Herdline was 6th tonight. Michael Walters was 7th. Ron Strickland finished 8th. 9th went to Jeremy Archer, and George Englehart III finished 10th. Lacey Hogg was 11th. Jeremy Jones was 12th, and Mike Joyner will round out the field. 35 laps, all under the green flag without a caution here this evening. And we see Mosquito Joe, team member there, down in Victory Lane, Miss April Scheidel as well. So celebrations continue, and race 1, well, it's done, Blake. That means it's just about time for the Hampton Heat 200.
Yeah, still building up the anticipation of what we're going to be able to see tonight. And if that was the appetizer, I can't wait for the main course and what we're going to be able to get tonight. It's going to be a real show.
Indeed it will. Don't go anywhere. We're back with more after these short messages. Back here at Larry King Law's Langley Speedway for the 18th annual Hampton Heat 200, getting the cars in position along the front stretch. That means we're getting ever so close to starting tonight's race. I'm Brian White along with Blake McCandless. We're up in the tower ready to call tonight's action with you. And Blake, this is, you've been here many, many times. Your second time here in 2026. A lot of the ZMAX Cars Tours drivers are ready to go here tonight. And we're going to have fun here in just a little bit.
Yeah, we are. But the one thing I love about coming here is it's not, it's not just the regional touring drivers that have a real chance to go to victory lane here tonight. It's the Langley locals. It's the ones who specifically take time out to focus on winning a Triple Crown and trying to pull that remarkable feat off to be able to do it. And yes, we got the names that, many fans that tune into FloRacing every single week that are looking forward to see run up front. But I just love seeing, again, that the Virginia drivers and those who race, tracks like here in South Boston on a weekly basis are just as competitive and capable of winning as any of the touring drivers that come on in here. And again, look at our front row, Cole Bruce and Woody Howard. I mean, that's just awesome to see. Despite the fact that the field is so competitive, those two were able to separate themselves. And they did it by quite a lot, too. It wasn't like a couple hundredths of thousands what we're used to seeing. It was by about a tenth or so over row 3, which, by the way, has Peyton Sellers and Connor Hall in it. I mean, just the best of the best that you have.
Certainly a stacked field here tonight. 29 cars to run tonight's Hampton Heat 200. And we talked about Connor Hall and the dominance he has had. The last 10 late model stock car races have netted him a victory. But what we haven't mentioned is the last 3 Hampton Heat 200s, Connor Hall has had to settle for a runner-up position, even though he won this event some years ago. As we're now seeing some interaction along the front stretch. Butterbean, Brendan Queen coming up to greet some race fans along the front straightaway as all the cars are getting in position. And Butterbean, we talked about it at IRP last night, has made the trip to his home track that he has dominated here over the years.
Yeah, and for him specifically, being able to come back and he just enjoys this time that he has with the group of people who changed his life in a lot of ways and gave him the opportunities that he has now. And he really cherishes, these few times that he gets to hop out of the truck or the schedule aligns to where he's able to come back and do this and be able to just enjoy, one, what put him on the map, and two, what he still has never lost a passion for, and that's late model stock racing, especially here at Langley. He would be a happy camper. There'd be a lot of happy campers tonight if he were able to go to victory lane. But the one car I see on our screen right there hasn't lost here this weekend, or hasn't lost here this season, I should say. And I got to say, if you're a betting man, can't really pick against that 77 car.
Arguably one of the favorites to pull it off here tonight, calls Hampton, Virginia home. This is his home turf. He feels some kind of way when all the other touring drivers come here. He wants to win at his racetrack. That Town Bank race car ready to go here tonight. That Chevrolet with Breeden Concrete is going to fire off, as we mentioned, not on the pole, but P4. And we talked about it. It's one thing to go out and get one fast lap or 2 fast laps. It's another to carry that into a long run. And this race has produced long runs over the years.
Well, the one thing I think with Connor Hall, again, he caught up with NASCAR Regional yesterday. They had about 5 or 6 hours of practice, which they don't get on a weekly basis. They get maybe, 2, 10, 15-minute sessions on a weekly basis. So they used that opportunity yesterday to try things, to experiment, and that's how far ahead of the curve that this team and this driver is, that they feel like, hey, we've got all this time. Let's just not that you're throwing darts at a dartboard, but let's just try some stuff, and then we'll probably just go back to what we know works so well. And, he described it best that, there's such a fine line tuning, a balance that you need here at this racetrack as a driver and from your car to be able to be really fast here. And it's so thin a line between being a little bit too loose and not being able to turn, or being a little bit too tight. And obviously, as a driver over the course of the years, he has found the way to perfectly balance that. And that's why every time we come here, he is the guy that everybody's watching.
He's been training, he's been practicing all season long for this night, and we're going to see if it comes to fruition. Again, starting outside of row 2 for Connor Hall, but there are a lot of other drivers, a lot of other bullets he's going to have to get through tonight if he wants to pull this off. And another one, let's talk about Peyton Sellers. He's no rookie like Connor. He's been around this racetrack a time or two, called South Boston Speedway his home track.
Yeah, he's been around here a lot of times, former winner of the Hampton Heat, looking to be one of those drivers that's done it multiple times. One of the few that's been able to accomplish that, but also looking at a Triple Crown. Again, was able to kind of rebound and put together what was honestly a really great effort by his team to get up to 17th. Again, he took damage early in that Thunder Road Harley-Davidson 200. They fought all day long, and you hear 17th for Peyton Sellers at South Boston. You may think they missed it a little bit. It was a hard-fought 17th place that if he rattles off a couple wins or a couple top 5s, he could very well be in the running for the Triple Crown.
That's right. Trevor Ward actually leads the standings, the top driver in the Virginia Triple Crown coming into this race in the field tonight. But we still have 200 laps ahead of us to settle who's going to lead going into the Valley Star Credit Union 300 in the month of September. 2 other gentlemen will be part of tonight's broadcast, including Adam Welbrock and James Pike. They are down on pit road. Adam, let's turn it down to you. Having a little glitch there. I believe we're going to get Adam on the mic here in a matter of moments. He has tonight's pole setter, who clocked in at 15.834 seconds, or 90.261 miles per hour. That's hauling the mail around this 4/10 of a mile oval.
I loved seeing the emotion for Cole Bruce. You could see how much it meant to him, his family, to be able to pull off this accomplishment. And again, they were just watching. They had Race Monitor up on their phones, and every lap by, you could see that elation building before he realized that he was going to be the pole sitter for the Hampton Heat. And again, in years past, I'm not going to say it didn't mean anything. You always wanted to start up front here, but I think with the way the racing has started to play out over the last couple of years, we've seen the importance of track position and how much more emphasis there is on that when trying to put together a trip to victory lane here in the Hampton Heat. And knowing that you have that top starting spot and you get to kind of set the pace with those drivers, with the Peyton Sellers and Connor Hall, all of those drivers. You get to gauge them, you get to learn, you get to see who's setting the pace and where that bar is going to be. And that's so important for a driver like him who has been here a lot, but again, is trying to win a big race like this for the first time.
He indeed is. It's been a roller coaster last couple of years. Lost his father, who was his best friend and somebody who helped him on that race car week in and week out. So it just meant so much to Cole Bruce and that team from Fredericksburg, Virginia, and the Club Tails Toyota to pull it off, and indeed they did. But now the task is at hand to go out and try to win the Hampton Heat 200, and he is in the best spot to get it done. Let's go back trackside to Adam Welbrock.
Thank you, Brian. Standing by with 18th annual pole sitter for the 18th annual Hampton Heat 200, Cole Bruce. Cole, we saw the emotion from you earlier, my friend, and it meant a lot to you just to get the pole. Man, I got to ask you, what would it mean to get it done here after 200 big ones?
Oh, my God. I think it'd be the biggest win of my career, you know. Obviously, you're racing against the best of the best. And like I said earlier, to be on the front row with the pole against a great veteran like Woody here, I mean, it's awesome. So I'm enjoying every little second I can. And then once that helmet goes on and we start doing our pace laps, man, it's game time. So been taking it in, man, every second I can, because you just never know when this opportunity comes. But it's been awesome. I think a win tonight would just be phenomenal. Like I said, it's been an unreal journey for me and my family team, you know, like I said, and just I'm so thankful that I'm blessed that our Toyota Camry, Club Tails, Corp Chassis has been so fast this weekend. So hopefully we can be there at the end for 200 laps. Just got to make it through the first 100, make some good adjustments, and hopefully be there at the end. Like I said, I know we got a lot of great competition behind me. So I'm new to setting the pace, like you said, with the 6 tires. So we'll see what we can do, and hopefully we can keep a good pace. And you know, I just got to do the bet what I feel like my gut is and gauge a little bit off the veterans and see how it ends at the end.
He's a late model stock winner here before. Don't count out this 31 Toyota, Brian. They're going to be a force to be reckoned with. Cole Bruce, look for his first Hampton Heat 200 win.
That's right. Cole Bruce is searching for it. Maybe tonight is his night. And speaking of veteran drivers, the driver to his right elbow is Woody Howard. Woody Howard, the veteran competitor, won this event 17 years ago, back in 2009, and ironically leads the championship standings in the Hoosier Driver Late Models here at Langley Speedway, but has not found victory lane. Could tonight be his night? We're going to find out. Let's go trackside.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Blake. Woody, this race has changed since you won it. This changed even just compared to last year with the 2-tire rule, and we don't have rain in the picture either. So Is this maybe something of a mental reset from a strategy perspective, just in terms of how you're going to approach this race?
Yeah, I mean, our guess is probably as good as anybody's how it's going to go. I'm happy to be up. Yeah, the 2 tires is it's going to change it a lot. It's going to be a lot different for the fans. Last year, there was a lot of riding around for the first 100 laps. So, you know, I was talking to Cole earlier. We're not sure how we're going to play it yet. You know, I guess we got a lot of veterans. There are a lot of really good guys behind us. So I guess depending on how much pressure we get from them, will probably determine how we race. And you know, just looking forward to it. Qualifying's been our kind of a weakness for us this year, and to come out here tonight and make some progress and qualify well has got me excited. So I'm looking forward to it.
I think Woody offers a pretty good perspective that I think a lot of the rest of the field shares, in that nobody really knows exactly how this race is going to play out with the 2 tires that can be changed, or more importantly, Brian and Blake, what the optimal strategy is for tonight. So something to watch for the diehard race fans.
Indeed, strategy is going to play into who wins tonight's events. I'm sure the crew chiefs have their notebooks full. Of course, we talked about it. The big difference tonight versus most of our Hampton heats throughout the history is normally it is extremely warm and very humid. Tonight, exceptionally different. We're talking about temperatures in the 70s, and folks have brought some sweatshirts for potentially later as the temperature continues to cool.
Yeah, some of the crew members have. It's still going to be grueling for these drivers, though. The mental challenge that this race is, that's something that, regardless of what the temperature is outside, that's never going to go away. And these cars that, yes, it may not be, 95 degrees with 90% humidity like it usually is here at this race, but even just sitting here for 200 laps in these cars, it's hot, even when it's just like this and a little bit cooler than what we're accustomed to seeing. So sitting here for 200 laps, it's a mental grind. It won't be as physical this time around, but still here at Langley, it takes a lot of focus because, again, you're constantly turning. There's never a rest point. Like, again, you go to a Bristol or so, you got a little bit of a straightaway to at least reset before you get to the next one for a brief second. Basically never get that at Langley.
You don't. You're absolutely constantly turning. Let's hear from the driver that has won the Virginia Triple Crown Championship twice. He's a 2-time Martinsville winner, and he's done it 6 times, and he has won this one as well. We're talking about the NASCAR Channel Chevrolet with Lee Pulliam.
2015 winner of this race, Lee Pulliam. Lee, you're a former winner here at Langley in the Hampton Heat 200, but qualifying didn't work out so well for you. What is it going to take today to get your second?
You got to have a good race car. I feel like the guys have brought me a really good NASCAR Channel Chevrolet. We just, first car out in qualifying didn't help anything. But I hadn't been here in 7 years, so a little bit of rust myself. But just got to thank everybody at Junior Motorsports for the opportunity. I feel like we'll be there at the end. So just got to do a better job than what we did at South Boston, avoid all the chaos and keep all the fenders on it and just be smart.
He's there at the end. I imagine he's going to have a shot at it. That is 2015 Hampton Heat winner Lee Pulliam making his first start, guys, in 7 years.
Hoping to make it happen here tonight. We're going to find out if he can pull it off. Again, we have a long race to go. 200 laps, so getting ready to fire engines in a few moments. You see drivers beginning to strap into their race cars, getting into their office. They've been thinking about this moment for quite some time. I'm sure their nerves are at high gear right now, but they'll begin to calm as they begin to fire these cars up and they begin circulating this racetrack during the pace and parade laps. Another driver we're watching is Bobby McCarty. He picked up the victory here back in 2017. He's going to start a little deeper in the field tonight, James. He's going to have to come from the 24th spot if he wants to pull it off. And if you look at the stats book, that's not good odds for you, but hey, we've seen the stats book not always play out the right way in a race.
Yeah, and that's why these drivers show up. It doesn't matter how many times you've won if you're showing up for the first time or if you're a 3-time winner like we have in the field here tonight. That there's a reason race car drivers still want to prove themselves, and that on this night they have the car, they have the team, and they have the driver that's putting the helmet on that is able to go out there and get the job done. And again, a full field, and wouldn't be surprised if we saw somebody like a Lee Pulliam or Carson Lofton, or just some of these cars that we're seeing that are starting in the back half of the field, a Bobby McCarty. And you can throw so many names out there that if they drove up through the field and won this race, we would not be the least bit surprised.
What about a driver that's going to start back in 11th place? Brendan Queen did that back in 2020 and would go on to pick up the victory. But tonight, the driver that's going to start 11th is from Mooresville, North Carolina, making his Hampton Heat debut after finishing 3rd here in the Z-Max Cars Tour race in May. We're talking about car 88. That is Caden Guapel. Let's go trackside. All right, we'll talk to Caden here in just a bit. He is piloting car number 88. He's going to start 11th, finish 6th at South Boston. That's good odds coming into tonight's race.
Yeah, it is. And again, a really emotional day for he and that family. And being able to cap it off here with a Hampton Heat victory would just make it so much more special for them to celebrate the great accomplishment that Carson had earlier today at Indianapolis as a family, and being able to come out here and do it again. What a special day it would be. They'd never forget July
25th.
July 25th. It
Hard
would be
to believe. We're flying by this year.
Yeah, it would be a day they would never forget.
Absolutely. So again, the South Boston results back last month in their 200-lap race. Caden Honeycutt picked up the victory, not racing here tonight, but Trevor Ward is. He came home in second, with Landon Pimpleton finishing third. Carson Brown was fourth, and Landon Lewis rounded out the top 5 that night. Caden Guapel, who is here tonight, he finished in 6th, followed by Connor Hall. 7th, 8th went to Trey Cruz, followed by Doug Barnes Jr. and Blake Stallings, rounded out the top 10. So we talk about the average starting spot for the win. That's 5th spot. Starting 5th tonight inside of row 3 is Matt Waltz, who pilots car number 2. He has got a good spot. I talked to him earlier down on pit lane. He had a big smile on his face. He said he's ready. He thinks he has a good car to compete here this evening.
Yeah, and he's, again, defending winner of this race, has all the confidence in the world, trying to come in here and get this job done. And did it in commanding fashion. Again, he took the lead of that race and pretty much never looked back. But, again, we kind of brought it up to some of these drivers that we got their thoughts on it and kind of got to gauge what they think about what this race is going to be, with that halfway break being a little bit different. Again, a 6-tire race, a 10-minute clock versus the 15 minutes that we've seen in the past, and being able to have a car that can put yourself in a good spot in the first 100 laps. Again, we heard from Woody Howard just a little bit earlier. Not quite sure what these teams and drivers have up their sleeves in terms of how they want to play this race, how hard they want to go early. If, having that 2-tire change, or being able to put two new tires on what we assume would be the right side of these race cars, and how big of a factor that'll play in the strategy that we see in the first half of this race. But yeah, it's going to be exciting to see. So many unknowns coming to this race should make it awfully exciting for a driver like Matt Waltz, starting on the inside of row number 3.
Don't go anywhere. More coverage of the Hampton Heat 200, and we're getting ready to fire engines on the other side. Jeremy Marks, you're needed at the front gate at this time. Jeremy Marks, you're needed at the front gate at this time. All right, we are getting set for the racing action here tonight in Hampton, Virginia, for the Hampton Heat 200 at Larry King Law's Langley Speedway, and we're getting set to go after it 200 times around. Other drivers we're keeping an eye on include Chase Burrow in the 00 car from King William, Virginia. He's going to make his 4th Hampton Heat 200. He has done quite well. He's going to fire off in the 7th position, and we'll see if he can make his way to the front. Well, let's toss it now to Adam Welbrod.
And now, race fans, for the most famous words in motorsports, please welcome the Mayor of Hampton and City Council members.
Driver, start your engine!
That is the best sound. We love hearing that on a Saturday night here in Hampton, Virginia. That's because 29 late model stock car engines come to life here on the front stretch. We are just about set to get the Hampton Heat 200 underway here this evening. Engines fired here tonight. We're almost there.
Yeah, and you can see the Musco lighting coming in here and starting to put on a show. Larry King Law's Langley Speedway, they're some of the best in the business when it comes to doing this. And what a shot we get of the field that is ready to roar to life here for 200 laps in the Hampton Heat. Again, Cole Bruce, Woody Howard, what a front row that we get to watch here tonight. Followed by Peyton Sellers, Connor Hall, some of the best in the business to do it. It's going to be fun to watch.
6 Dodges are in tonight's field, 7 Toyotas, 2 Fords, 13 Chevrolets, and 1 Buick is starting tonight's race at Langley Speedway. The field is rolling under the caution flag. Look at the grandstands. They are simply packed. And look at our junior flag wavers there here in the grandstands. I tell you what, Brandon Willard is going to have to fight to keep his job.
Yeah, I was about to say, every time we come here to Langley Speedway, man, there are a lot of people auditioning for his job. So, yes, he's got to be sharp because they do a great job here.
Beautiful sunset here at Larry King Law's Langley Speedway. Just a great evening to be at the racetrack. Let's take a look at the track backs for Larry King Law's Langley Speedway for this Hampton Heat 200. It's America's hottest late model stock car race. This track is 4/10 of a mile. Banking is 6 degrees in the corners, 2 degrees on the straightaway, celebrating our 76th season of competition. I mean, this track's been around a minute.
Yeah, it has, and it's great to see that, you know, that this track has aged and provided some very unique racing. We saw it in the U-Car race earlier this evening about how you can attack these corners and where you can run your car and be able to make speed and make passes. It's not just on the bottom, although there are a lot of passes that happen down there. You can make that groove just above the apron work and even sometimes the outside. I mean, what we saw Connor Hall, he was on the top side 3 wide and won a Cars Tour race here a couple of years ago. So many different ways you could try to do it here at Langley.
Indeed. Of course, a lot of folks realize this track hosted the NASCAR Cup Series back in the 60s and 70s. It's hosted lots of O'Reilly Auto Parts races as well. Steep history here in Hampton, Virginia, just across from the NASA Langley Research Center in beautiful southeastern Virginia. Multiple drivers have won this event, but as I say that, multiple drivers have only won once at Langley Speedway. Former winners in tonight's field include Butterbean, Brendan Queen, who is here. He runs full-time in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. His most recent win was back in 2024. We see last year's winner, Matt Waltz. Connor Hall also has pulled it off here in Hampton, Virginia. Just a tough feat. But overall, 7 former winners in tonight's field, including Bobby McCarty. He's starting the deepest back in 24th spot. So we'll see if he can climb his way to the front. And we documented the driver that's going to start outside of row 1, won it way back almost 2 decades ago, Woody Howard, but he's in a good spot. And remember, race fans, this is a 200-lap event. No caution laps will count in this feature, and the caution will fly at or around lap 100. We'll bring the cars down pit road for a roughly 10-minute break. And new this year, and I say that because multiple years ago we did do this, but new in 2026, we're going to make a tire change, 2 to be exact.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit different than what we've seen in the past. And again, that's why the Triple Crown is unique, and then it's 3 individual events, 3 tracks that all put on their own event. And that's why, you know, we go to South Boston, caution laps, they counted at that race. Here at the Hampton Heat, they're not going to count. Smaller track, we'd get a lot more laps under caution if we were to do that here. So 200 laps here, and then of course when we go to Martinsville, there's certain rules about when caution laps count, when they don't. But 3 individual events here and 3 tracks that, again, all collaborate so well. Brandon Brown and his group at South Boston Speedway did a tremendous job with the 200. A lot thrown their way with the weather and everything. They were able to pull off a great race. Caden Honeycutt won that. Again, he'll have a locked-in spot in the Valley Star Credit Union 300 if he's able to make it. He's got a Craftsman Truck Series obligation that same day. So maybe if we get some rain in Martinsville, you know, we'll see what will happen as we take a look at our starting lineup.
Let's take a look at the starting lineup of the 18th annual Hampton Heat 200. Cole Bruce will lead the field to the green flag. Again, an average speed of 90.26 miles per hour. To his right elbow is going to be the Chesapeake, Virginia racer, Woody Howard.
Yeah, Peyton Sellers, Connor Hall making up row 2, starting 3rd and 4th. That is going to be 2 drivers to watch here tonight.
That's right. Row 3 will be the defending winner, Matt Waltz, in the number 2 entry with Greg Edwards, the 8-time champion here in Hampton.
And how about Chase Burrow, a winner here in the Cars Tour? Aiden Millett, the young gun. He's been impressive starting in row 4.
Trey Cruz, and a driver that's no stranger to the checkered flags, that is Trevor Ward, starting 10th.
And Caden Quapple trying to follow up the effort from his brother earlier today, and Brendan Queen trying to make history with his 4th Hampton Heat.
Connor Waddell will start 13th today, alongside Chase Ferguson in car 22.
Yeah, Chase Ferguson, the inside of row 8, back in row 9. How about Michael Bumgarner, Carson Lofton, 2 youngsters trying to get the job done from nearly on the outskirts of the top 20. Ryan Matthews and Brandon Lopez looking to do the same.
How about that? We got Riley Music, Landon Pimbleton starting 15th and 16th. We've got, actually correction, moving now to road number 11, Lee Polium. Atlee Weiss the rookie competitor. Keep an eye on the number 8 Chevrolet. Blake Stallings, Bobby McCarty, followed by Jamie York, Cody Bryant, Chase Johnson, Craig Estep, and Chris Horton Jr. make up the field here for tonight's 18th annual Hampton Heat 200. And we are just about set to go after it. 200 heart-pounding laps of action as the field begins to form coming out of turn number 2. The sun is all but set. The Musco lights are on. Drivers getting in position now to start the 18th annual Hampton Heat 200 to see who can pull it off. Cole Bruce, Woody Howard on row 1, Peyton Sellers, Connor Hull on row 2. Tighten the belts. We're just about set to begin leg 2 of the Virginia Triple Crown. Cole Bruce squirts out in the lead by about 4 car lengths. They're still stacked up 2 by 2 behind him. We see dialing up the high lane is Woody Howard, Peyton Sellers on the bottom of the racetrack, but Cole Bruce out with a nice lead early on.
Yeah, enjoying that time in the spotlight, but again, he's running about 2/10 quicker than anybody else in the field right now, so the youngster enjoying that time in the limelight. We know how much this pole award meant to him, but I think you could even see this lap. He ran 2/10 quicker, now he backs it down, and again, that patience going to come into play here with how he wants to manage this race. He mentioned it just before he hopped in his race car. I want to use the veterans around me as a gauge, and especially here at Langley where tire conservation is so important. That's something that's often happened, whether it's been a Josh Berry in the past or somebody like a Lee Pulliam at the front of the field that you often use to gauge where that pace is going to be. Imagine that Connor Hall, Peyton Sellers, Matt Waltz, last year's winner of that race, going to kind of fill that role for the field here in these opening couple of laps.
We love Saturday night short track racing under the lights. We see the tires beginning to build pressure. The sparks are flying underneath these race cars. Fireworks happening as these cars are getting set to take the green flag. As we look at the 00, that's Chase Burrow, that white car just ahead of the number 9 of Aiden Millett. This is 5th and 6th position behind Matt Waltz. Matt Waltz actually rides in position number 5. Chase Burrow trying to make hay now, about a half a lane lower. You see a little further behind them, trapped on the high side of the racetrack. That's Greg Edwards inside the top 10. He is 9th, but he's under attack from Kate Quabble. Quabble, as we documented, did very well here in the Cars Tour race earlier this year.
And again, as you see Chase Burrow there, that 00 into Matt Waltz, and Waltz is going to spin off of turn 2 and take Chase Burrow with him. A 2-car spin to the inside in the opening laps. And last year's winner is going to have to come from a little deeper in the field to try and pull off that feat again.
Trouble in turn number 2. The caution flag flies for the first time this evening as we have a couple of cars going around. They were mixing it up for the 5th spot. We're talking about Matt Waltz and Chase Burrow get together in turn number 2. Thankfully, they didn't hit a fence, but they did go for a spin, got into the grass. They have since grabbed a gear and continued on. The smoke show, as you see in turn number 2, you got to wonder if they did any damage to those Hoosier tires.
And again, you'll see both Waltz and Burrow doing this. Again, they were battling for 5th and 6th, and they're going to try to contest here. As you can see, Burrow trying to move up to where his position was when this happened. They're going to contest that, hey, we never spun out. We never actually wrecked. The caution came out. You can see this contact as Burrow's down on the flat. Millett may have gotten a piece of it as well. Waltz is going to contest that, hey, I was rolling through the grass. I never stopped, so I should keep my spot. Burrow comes to a complete stop. He's involved in this, no doubt. And yeah, Millett gets into the back. That's what spins Burrow out.
He indeed does. Didn't catch that initially, but Aiden Millett may have a little damage to the front of that race car. There you see the 2 with all the rain that we've had over the last couple of days. He is just flat out driving that race car to get back in position. Remember, he picked up the victory here last year and was inside the top 5 as he goes for that wild ride in turn number 2. There's the contact between those 2, and you see the number 9 of Aiden Millett. Behind him is the 10 of Trey Cruz, who was riding in the 8th position. Those 2 cars of the number 2 of Matt Waltz does go for the spin, and there you see the stop Chase Burrow. One good thing for these competitors, this happened early in the field, just at lap number 7, and NASCAR is talking to these 2 drivers as they will put them at the back, saying they were the cause for the caution.
Well, they're holding them, and you could see Matt Waltz. We didn't get a great shot of it from that camera view, but his arm was out the window, and I can imagine that there was a finger sticking out, and maybe it wasn't the one telling him. Maybe he was just telling Chase he was number 1, I don't know, but was obviously upset either with the officiating or what happened with the contact there with Chase Burrow. There is one car, though, that is down in the pit area. It is Lee Polian. We mentioned him starting a little bit further back in the field. And honestly, I kind of like this call for this junior motorsports team, assuming you don't see any damage there for Lee Polian. They're probably coming down and just trying to make a little bit of an adjustment. If you are going to do that, do it early.
That's right. Caution laps do not count, so go ahead and take advantage of this early caution flag. Chris Horton had a engine change, was not able to qualify earlier today. Our pit reporter, James Pike, is saying they are up and going. They had a fuel pickup problem, and so they had to go down pit lane before when this race just got started. So early on, trouble for Chris Horton in car number 42, as that car is in the pits. He's not completed a lap at the moment, so a tough break for him. And a couple of more cars back down pit lane, including Matt Waltz and Craig Estep. There's the 25 stop. They are working on that car. Craig Estep in his 50th season of competition, whether it be on dirt or asphalt. And this is his home track, and he told me today this is his final Hampton Heat 200.
Wow.
And he was looking forward to this race tonight.
Yeah, they'll come down and make some adjustments. And again, the fact that caution laps don't count, it gives these teams just a little more time to be able to make some of those adjustments that they're able to do. They weren't able to do that at South Boston because they'd have to come in quickly, do something very fast, and try to get out before they were put a lap down. They will be put at the tail end of the field, but they will not lose any laps if they're doing work under yellow.
Indeed, that is the case here at Langley Speedway. We are just about set. We just had the hydraulic repair court choose where drivers elected to go to the inside or the outside. The preferred lane typically was on the bottom of the racetrack, but some cars hook up a little bit better on the high side of the track. Woody Howard took advantage of the high line. He'll rejoin this race topside alongside Cole Bruce. So the field continues to form behind the Toyota Pace truck, which lights are off. That means we're going green flag racing. Matt Waltz, as we documented, along with Chase Burrow all the way at the back of the field. Row 2 is going to be Connor Hall and the Town Bank Chevrolet. He'll fire off in third with Peyton Sellers to his right side. You have the number 9 of Aiden Millette and Trey Cruz making up row 3. Early on, just 7 laps have been completed. Here they come through turns 3 and 4. We're set for the restart. Brandon Willard waves that green flag, our chief starter, high atop the flag stand, and all of our late model stock cars take off back to turns 1 and 2. It's a dead heat for the top spot. Digging hard is Woody Howard from Chesapeake. He is trying to pick up his second Hampton Heat 200 win, but fighting down on the inside is Cole Bruce. 2 by 2 behind him, but it looks like Woody Howard is going to make that high line work. High, wide, and handsome indeed for car number 41. New race leader coming off of turn number 4, Woody Howard, now solidly in command of this event as Connor Hall's trying to get closer to the front. He battles the number 26 of Peyton Sellers for third.
Yeah, a little bit of a different look with Howard wanting to get gone and kind of set the tone for how this early portion of the race is going to play out. And we heard a report some word from Adam Wellbrock and the changes they made on the Junior Motorsports number 8 for Lee Polian that time. They put some Packer in the left front. Now, again, that tells me that the ride quality wasn't great, that the left front nose was digging into the track just a little bit too much. Lee obviously recognizing that early and wanted to get that nose a little bit higher, so they put some Packer in it, get that nose a little bit off the racetrack and give him something to fight with.
And if anybody knows how to adjust a race car, I'd say Lee Polian knows how to get it done. Here comes Aiden Millette. Had a chance to catch up with him earlier. He was just so excited to be here in this race. A limited late model champion here at Langley Speedway, performing well early on. He has now gotten his car up to the 4th position as he's been able to get by the 26 of Peyton Sellers. So Sellers going back just a little bit. But we talk about this. We are so early in this event. Drivers told me earlier today, we just want to log laps until we get to the second half of this race.
Well, again, it's easy to say. It's very difficult to do. What did we just see? I'm sure, Chase Burrow and Matt Waltz, they would have said the same thing. We just want to make sure that we get to a certain point. But accomplishing that is a little bit different than saying that you want to do it as Millette and Connor Hall almost some contact going down into one. But again, I think a veteran move here for Connor Hall. He's going to say, okay, you know what, Aiden? If you want it that badly, I'll make you work for it. I'm not just going to give it to you, but at least going to give you some space here in the early going. Yep, and he's going to lift there, get back down the line before Peyton Sellers. So I think a veteran move there for Connor Hall, who feels like Millette maybe charging a little too hard, using up a little bit too much of that race car right now.
The nose of that number 9 Toyota, the driver from Yorktown, was all in the back of Connor Hall here on the front stretch. He has made that pass. Now he's going to get the second spot, this time from Cole Bruce. Aiden Millette has logged many laps here at Langley Speedway over the years, trying to get it done here tonight to take an early lead. He'll get the second spot from Cole Bruce. Now he's going to work on Woody Howard as we now just put 17 laps on the scoreboard. And indeed, here he goes, side by side to the top spot, the number 9 on the bottom of the racetrack, Toyota versus the Chevrolet. Now we see another new race leader, the third here early on this evening. Now it's Aiden Millette at the head of the field.
And Millette, again, not falling off in terms of lap times. Again, the best laps that these drivers ran were about 7/10 faster than what the field is running right now. So Millette kind of continuing that pace. It's the rest of the field that's starting to kind of back off a little bit and make sure that they save those F45 start tires. Again, 6-tire race, going to be a different outcome, going to be a different way that these teams play this strategy right now. As Connor Hall, he got third, and now he's going to try to get 2 in one straightaway in corner. He's going to be able to do it. Connor Hall up to second, to the cheer of many of the fans here at the grandstands at Langley.
He has had a net gain now of 2 after starting in 4th. Woody Howard's tried the crossover move coming out of turn 2, is not going to be able to get it done as they work back to the opposite end of the racetrack. So Connor Hall is up to the runner-up position, although he's about 4 car lengths or so behind race leader Aiden Millette. But early on, having a strong running, here comes the 26. That's Peyton Sellers from Danville, Virginia, multi-time champion at South Boston Speedway. He's got it done here in the Hampton E200, and they are stacking it up from second on back. It's a hornet's nest here as Connor Hall has that second spot, but the Woody Howard car is unrelenting lap after lap. He is trying to get that spot back, looks to the inside, and they're going to be stacked up behind him.
And this is where it can be really difficult if you're in Peyton Sellers' position right here, because yes, you have those cars in front of you that are backing off a little bit, but you also get a lot of pressure from behind. Trey Cruz was applying some pressure to that number 26 car. Caden Quapple, he's made some pretty good progress early in this race up to the 7th position in that Jerky Boys number 88. So we'll see what he's able to do. Connor Hall right now going to the second lane to hold off Woody Howard. It's amazing seeing those cars as they dive into turn number 1, just how low they're able to run. Some more contact there. A little bit of left rear damage here for Connor Hall. Going to be cosmetic and not slow him down at all at this track. But Hall not exactly laying over right now to give it up. Right-hand side of your screen, you see everything that's happening behind your leaders and some of those stack-ups. There's Trevor Ward, Brendan Queen right now. That's for 9th. It's kind of 2 packs right now that have formed, this being the lead of the second one.
Connor Hall out of shape a couple of laps ago as he and Woody Howard, they compete on a weekly basis here at Langley Speedway. The 77 car had to fight to keep that car pointed in the right direction. He has fallen now back to P3 as Woody Howard has been able to take back over the 2nd position. Behind them, you see the Peyton Sellers car trying to go to work now on Cole Bruce, your pole setter. Cole Bruce right now will be in front of the 26 Toyota. So Cole Bruce right now occupies the 4th spot. Trey Cruz having a good run early on here. He has the number 10 car up to the 6th spot as they log it back into turns 3 and 4. It's a conveyor belt. They're single file at the moment for the most part until you go a little further back. And I tell you, the drivers have to use a lot of brakes at this racetrack, so make sure you take care of those brakes as we watch the other number 22. This is going to be Riley Music. This is for the 12th spot as they race down the backstretch.
Again, cool story here for Riley Music, whose Thunder Road Harley-Davidson 200 came to a very early end for him. He got a call from Barry Nelson a couple of days later to come out and run this Nelson Motorsports number 22. They've had a couple of different drivers kind of hopping behind the wheel here in the Triple Crown and in the Cars Tour recently. In Music, a local competitor here at Langley was jumping at the opportunity to hop behind the wheel for the Henry County boys. So a really cool story for him to be able to come up and challenge for the top 10. But you also got the driver who was full-time behind the wheel of that number 22 car, That's Carson Lofton in car number 20 that's just beneath him, that's made some progress getting by that 22, and now a little bit of contact off the corner. That's with the 0 of Landon Pimbleton as Lofton trying to carve his way through the field here early.
You would think they're racing for the top spot. Indeed, they're not. They're back and around.
Oh, contact! Bumgarner into the outside wall, and that was after the caution had come out. Bobby McCarty has some pretty significant damage on the right front of his race car, and they got together afterwards, and oh man, is that Chase Burrow and Matt Waltz? Wow, second time.
That's right, caution flag number 2. This happened actually in turns 1 and 2, as even more damage this time for Matt Waltz and Chase Burrow. I have to think this may have been some retaliation potentially, as we are back under the caution flag at lap number 31.
Again, they were running for the 23rd spot. Burrow was ahead of Matt Waltz, and McCarty was behind them. So, yeah, you can imagine that maybe, again, they were both sent to the back of the field, so they were in close proximity that entire run. And see Matt Waltz not able to get that car fired up, but McCarty, he gets the worst end of it. I mean, the front end of that car, the bodywork, is destroyed right now. And you can imagine, at least with where they were running, he was probably just an innocent bystander.
Indeed, tough break for Bobby McCarty, a former winner of this race. Matt Waltz with damage to the rear of his race car. There's the McCarty damage that Blake was talking about. Significant damage. He goes ahead and makes that hard left. Likely his night will be done. Tough break again for Bobby McCarty in car number 41. We were watching action on the opposite end of the racetrack after some cars got into the fence and got into one another. While that was happening, the caution was coming out because of the number 2 of Matt Waltz and the 00 getting back together. That's Chase Burrow. So they went for a wild ride with Bobby McCarty also getting tangled up in that. Didn't see exactly what precipitated that, but nevertheless, Bobby McCarty worse for wears. So Bobby McCarty, you see, is now sitting in the pits. He has taken the helmet off. The window net is down, so thankfully he's okay. His race car bruised and battered here at the moment.
Yeah, it's the Hedgecock Racing house car, and again, McCarty, a respected veteran in this late model stock business, and yeah, he's gonna go and voice his frustration and walk down to Matt Waltz and his crew in the number 2.
Not happy right now. You can see they are talking and communicating, waving with each other. That's not a friendly wave, I don't think, as Bobby McCarty, the 23-year-old, making his 9th Hampton Heat 200. He won the Valley Star Credit Union back in 2023, having some significant damage to his race car. Of course, won the 2017 Hampton Heat, but will not accomplish that feat here in 2026. So that car is in the pits. There you see the unhappy driver, as you can imagine. Adam Welbrock is down there with them as well. But just a tough break. I mean, you come into this race with high hopes. Didn't qualify exactly where he wanted, but does not have the finish that he would like. Out very early. We are just within the first 31 laps of this event. And tough break. Let's get the thoughts from Bobby McCarty. So Bobby McCarty, you can see Adam Welbrock is down there with him. We're going to get the thoughts from that driver here in a moment. You can see, we said it's not that hot, but you're inside the race car. It's rather warm, and we can see that in Bobby McCarty.
Mic check. And there we are. Bobby McCarty down here in the pit lane. Bobby, not the way you wanted your Hampton Heat 200 to go. What did you see from your vantage point?
From the looks of it, to me, Matt Waltz and the 00 is out there just being idiots, man. Like, I know they got together, but you gonna go out there and intentionally wreck the guy for, I think we was 3rd from last. I mean, he's been racing plenty long enough. He knows better. He don't need to be out there acting like an idiot, man. We're all in a bad situation. We're in a spot nobody wants to be in. I mean, why? To me, it's just mind-boggling. These guys has got, 10s and, 15 years of experience out there acting like these kids that we all talk bad about, you know what I mean? Like, he knows better, and I don't care what happened between him and the 00. If you want to wreck somebody, just be good enough to make sure it's just him, you know what I mean? I'm frustrated, man. I want to thank everybody at Hedgecock, all our sponsors and everything. It's just, it's frustrating to watch veterans out there acting like idiots, man.
We're coming to the CorvetteParts.net restart zone presented by King Parts, and we're back under the green flag. Aiden Millette on the bottom of the racetrack. Here comes Woody Howard topside. Remember the last time Woody Howard made hay on the top side of the racetrack? He's going to try it again, but Millette just stuffs it down into turn number 3, and Woody Howard follows in his tire tracks as we put lap 32 on the scoreboard.
Yeah, and again, got some reports even in the top 5 that there's some tempers between some of these drivers, and they're lighting up the radio right now. They're giving signals out the window right now. We just saw what took place. McCarty got the worst end of it, and I think McCarty's 100% right. Very disappointing to see that going on this early in the race. Again, a long way to go, but man, tight racing, hard racing up here at the front of the field, 3 wide. Connor Hall's going to back out of it as he falls out of the top 5.
Who says they're not going to go after it? 3 wide near the front of this field as Connor Hall begins to backpedal a little bit. This is likely a strategy call to save those Hoosier tires, even though they'll get 2 fresh ones when they come back down pit lane at around lap number 100. But we're just at lap number 35, so we're a long ways from that. To his inside is going to be the number 77 of Trevor Ward. He's trying to get a little closer to the head of the field. But this is a hornet's nest. If one driver slips, makes a mistake, we could take out a lot of race cars. They have to be on their A game at the moment.
At Connor Hall, you can see a lot of sparks coming out from that number 77 car. He's finally able to get back down, but yeah, that car looking really low. He's hitting the racetrack pretty hard. You can see he's having to check up to try and hold off Carson Lofton right now. As you go, yeah, something's dragging on the right front of that 77 car. He is muscling through it right now. But yeah, Connor Hall off the pace as he goes high in 1 and 2. Something going to miss there for Connor Hall. And he's going to slow on the backstretch, and he's going to be able to get back down. But he's coming into the pits. This is under green.
The driver that we said was the favorite to win 10 late model stock car races this year, he's won every single one of them. He is down pit lane. We are under the green flag, so he will now go -1 lap. Crew members looking that car over, and unfortunately, he is still setting in the pits. It looks like it may be the right front tire they're looking at. Now they're going to pull the pins on the hood potentially, and this could be detrimental for Connor Hall. Now 2 laps down, Connor Hall. This was not what we were expecting. Connor Hall sets down on pit lane.
Yeah, no, it's not. And again, the crowd reacts, man. Whenever Connor Hall does something good or bad, gets a reaction. You saw a lot of folks that were upset, some that were happy, but a brutal ending here for Connor Hall. In fact, you can see he had a little bit of right side contact with the wall. The Hoosier lettering's white on the right-hand side of that car, but just a brutal ending for what we thought coming into tonight was going to be the favorite. The window net's down, and he's out of the race. Meanwhile, back up front, Aiden Millette has built up a quarter of the racetrack or so.
I'm telling you, he has checked out on his own zip code at the moment, almost 2/3 of a straightaway over the Woody Howard race car number 41, who's in second spot. Brendan Butterbean Queen, the 03 race car. He is riding in the 8th position behind the Trevor Ward race car number 77 and just ahead of the Trey Cruz number 10 race car. So Butterbean, he's up 4 spots here in the opening of the Hampton Heat 200. Driver that is also another favorite to get it done here this evening. Was not able to practice because he was up in Indianapolis racing in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. He's here in Hampton, Virginia tonight, his home turf, trying to make it happen here tonight. They're stacked up 2 by 2 behind him. That's going to be Carson Lofton. He's in a mix now as they work back over into turns 3 and 4. He's racing with Trey Cruz, that is, as they work off of turn 4. So move the Carson Lofton car up a position. He'll bypass the 10 entry.
Oh!
Contact is made and damage to potentially the right side of the number 8 of Connor Waddell as they go back to turns 3 and 4. Greg Edwards, the Wiley veteran, he's there, and indeed there is some front right-end damage.
And it's not just Connor Hall in the 77, Blake Stallings. He's just getting back out on the racetrack right now. He fell a couple of laps down as he visited the pit area. And again, he was somebody after getting a top 10 at the Thunder Road Harley-Davidson 200, was chasing that Triple Crown. Several drivers in Triple Crown contention with early trouble, not even a quarter distance through here at the Hampton Heat. And Connor Waddell, impressive the young driver has been. See, he's going to be able to fight and continue with this right side damage, but something they're definitely going to have to address at the halfway break. And, you know, coming by the start-finish line here, there was a driver maybe in the top 3 or 4 that something did not sound entirely great on one of those motors as they were coming by.
Coming by now to put 49 laps on the scoreboard. Here comes Butterbean. Brendan Queen looking for another position. This time it's on Trevor Ward as we see more sparks flying from the 77 car, which gets out of shape. Exiting turn number 2, Brendan will make the pass. Makes it on the bottom of the racetrack as he exits turn number 4, just behind the number 88 of Caden Guaplin. What a run Caden Guaplin's having. We talked with him just a little bit early on tonight. This is his first Hampton Heat 200 here this evening after having a very solid top 5 finish back in May for the ZMAX Cars Tour. Talked with him briefly. He was looking forward to tonight. Said he has good thoughts of this race. They were fast in practice, and they're showing how good they are now. May not be quite as good as Butterbean at this juncture of the race, because Butterbean is looking all over the back bumper as they race back to the opposite end in turns 3 and 4.
Again, I remember talking to Caden before we ran the Cars Tour here about about 2 months ago or so. It's hard to believe it's already been 2 months since we were here at Larry King Law's Langley Speedway, but he was quite candid in admitting that this wasn't the style of racing that he was exactly comfortable with. It was something that he's had to learn and really work on. Obviously doing a great job here tonight. He's gotten up in the top 5. He's running 6th right now from a starting position where he really had to work to get up here. But I love the contrast in styles there, that he's somebody that likes to go to these high grip racetracks and rip and make lap time, versus Brendan Queen, who cut his teeth right here at Langley Speedway. And I think teaching the young driver a thing or two right now is Brendan Queen now up into 5th.
Brendan Queen among the fast race cars on the Speedway, was turning consistent lap times the last few times around, as consistent as Aiden Millette, the race leader. And there we're talking about the 88 of Kate Waffle, who's trying to make it happen here tonight. Race leader, it's car number 9, Aiden Millette, running through turns 3 and 4, a rookie this year in the late model stock car series. He's trying to find a victory lane here for the Hampton Heat. He felt good about what he had. He said he just needs a little luck here this evening. He's hoping to turn things around. And we talk about how important luck is, and look at the gap between first and second. It is quite significant at this juncture of the race.
I'm really looking forward, and I'm sure every spotter up there is looking at this car and how it's going to handle as we get in the last 43 laps of this run. Again, we have that halfway yellow to look forward to, 10 minutes for these teams to work on their cars. It's a 6-tire race, so they have the opportunity to put 2 stickers of Hoosier F45 Star tires on. But I think a lot of people are going to gauge this second stint, the last 100 laps of this race, based on what happens to this number 9 car, because he's gotten out. His gap is up to 3 seconds right now. If he's able to maintain and keep that lead, 1, he's going to prove he has a really fast race car. But 2, I think the rest of the field is going to learn that, hey, you may not have to save as much tire. You may not want to ask Carson Lofton there on the left-hand side of your screen. He was a little sideways there off of turn 4. But, yeah, I'm sure everybody in the field trying to gauge exactly where Aiden Millette's going to slide in, or if he's going to be able to maintain and continue to build this gap through the final 40 laps of this run.
We just saw Greg Edwards get by Connor Waddell to take over the 9th position, so he's working his way closer to the front. Aiden Millette getting ready to catch the back half of this race field. The number 1 race car, the next driver in jeopardy of going a lap down, that's Jamie York. And you can see how Aiden Millette is beginning to close that juncture in. We will get a yellow flag here at or around lap number 100. So it's almost as if we're going to have 2 100-lap dashes to see who can make it happen. And looks like there may have been a hole, is what we're being told, in the tire of car number 77 of Connor Hall. So that may have been the problem for him. Again, ending his shot at winning the Hampton Heat 200. There is the number 51. That is Ryan Matthews, as he is on course right now, trying to make his way a little closer to the front. Ryan Matthews currently being scored just outside of the top 10 and 11th. And there you see the hole, Blake. We can see clearly that ended a great opportunity for Connor Hall to be undefeated in 2026.
Yeah, great job by Adam Welbrock down there and our Flow production crew being able to showcase that. And again, that's sometimes what happens in racing. It's unfortunate. And remember, Connor, he was kind of on that outside for several laps before that started happening, and you could see that he had fallen, some laps behind the leader, and then decided, as you can see right there, to pull it in, and just a tough break for somebody who was going to lose. Again, imagine saying this: he's going to lose his first race here this year.
Indeed, he will. That's not what we were planning or what we were thinking we were going to see here this evening. Connor Hall is already out of the race, standing in the pit areas, obviously dejected as he recognizes this will not be his night. Watching a battle developing here for the 4th position. Look who's continuing to march his way closer to the front after starting just outside the top 10 in P12. We're talking about Brendan Queen, one of the more popular drivers here at Larry King Law's Langley Speedway, his home racetrack. And of course, he's a popular driver in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Picked up the ARCA Menard Series Championship last year, and he is back on his home turf tonight, and he would love to pick up the victory. It would be his 4th, but we have a long ways to go and multiple drivers who want to get it done. Just ahead of him, we see Cole Bruce right there trying to close in to the back of Woody Howard. This is for the runner-up spot, but this is multiple car lengths behind race leader Aiden Millett, who is more than a straightaway ahead of them here at lap number 69.
Yeah, you saw a little bit of a slide there for Bruce out of turn 4, but overall I've been really impressed with what this 31 car has been able to do. Again, started up front, was great that he was able to do that, but as you see the handling of this car, you can tell the last 30 laps or so, he's not all of a sudden going to lose the handle. He's not going to fall too many positions. So they've done a good job giving him a great car. And again, what a great story that up until a couple days ago, he didn't even know he was going to be in this race. And to have the opportunity, and clearly has a car that if they can improve it a little bit, just a little bit of a slide there off of turn 4, getting back to the gas, that he has a piece that he can compete with and potentially win. You already see some cars going a lap down too. Michael Bumgarner in that 51 car again. We saw him. He had a little bit of contact. It was when the caution flag flew for the incident, the second incident with Burrow and with Matt Waltz. The caution had flown. Bumgarner slowed down. There was a little bit of a checkup, and he ended up getting some right rear damage. You'll see it as they kind of pan on the camera right here for the 51 car. You can see, yep, the right rear damage that he's got that's slowing him down a little bit for the Rick Ware Racing driver.
Multiple drivers are happy. Let's just say all the drivers are going to be happy to see this caution come out in less than 25 laps. That's because, or make that 27 laps, that's because we're going to come down pit lane. They can make some adjustments to these race cars. Maybe the handling is not to their liking. We see multiple cars with the back end kicking out. And we do have another car out of this race. This time again, it's going to be Jamie York. York is done, it looks like, has made that hard left, and that car is setting down in the pit. So attrition beginning to mount a little higher here at Larry King Law's Langley Speedway in the first half of the Hampton Heat 200. As we're watching positions 2 on back, we're talking about Woody Howard, who has been in that second spot for a good majority of this first half of the event, and he is just ahead of Cole Bruce. Now, Cole Bruce appears to be a little bit quicker. The stopwatch is saying he's quicker as well, about 1/10 of a second. That last time is the Clubtails race car, number 31. He's trying to make a run, waiting for Woody to slip so he can put the nose of the car on the inside. And there he might get a little bit of a bump coming out of turn number 4. That would be a classic short track move. Behind them, we see Brendan Queen puts the nose of the car on the inside. This time, that's Peyton Sellers as they're racing for position number 4.
And what I was expecting out of this second pack is we have just 23 laps to go until this halfway break. You can see a lot of fans waving their hands and waving Butterbean on by. Peyton Sellers right there in the Clarence Steakhouse, number 26 for the Danville Toyota driver. So Queen moves up into 4th, but I was expecting that this second pack, that while we were going to be watching it, we were going to see that gap to Aiden Millett start to shrink and shrink and shrink. And guess what? It's not. Aiden Millett is starting to legitimately catch cars and put them a lap down at this point. It's been quite impressive. Again, he's pulling up to Blake Stallings. Again, he had been on pit road for a couple of laps, so he's 6 laps down. But starting to catch some cars that we thought were going to be quite competitive here tonight. He's pulling up. He's going around the outside of a lot of them, and he's putting them a lap down. So that gap is not shrinking. That is something the rest of this field is definitely going to take note of. And by the way, Aiden Millett, you can see him right there, Blake Stallings. And how about Chase Burrow? Not able to recover from that incident with Matt Waltz earlier. He may be in danger of going a lap down.
Chase Burrow right now rides in the 20th position as they work back over to turns 3 and 4. So right side of your frame is the race leader. The 77 is out of shape coming out of turn number 4 as Aiden Millett, his heart rate went up just a little bit higher as he'll bypass him to the inside. Now again, we talked about that 77 car is laps down. Meanwhile, just ahead of him, the driver is on the lead lap. That's Chase Burrow. He is hoping to get a caution flag, or he's going to have to stay in front of him for these final 17 laps in this first half of the event here at Larry King Law's Langley Speedway. And indeed, Aiden Millett is there, puts the nose of the car on the inside down the backstretch, entering turn number 3. And if he can get by him, Brandon Lopez, who rides in the 19th spot, will be next on the hit list.
If what Aiden Millett is doing now is going to continue to sustain, again, he did lose about a second there getting around a couple of those lap cars, but I think everyone in this field is learning that either he's just got a really great race car or that maybe that idea of what you thought you needed to conserve until the end of the run is not quite what they thought. I think we're going to come out in this second half, and the gloves are going to come off. We saw that early in this race. I think the whole last 100 laps of this race is going to be a bare-knuckle fight based off of what Millett's doing because, again, he's catching cars that have been playing that strategy, that have been saving a little bit, and it hasn't helped them at all.
If history is any indicator, the first half of this race is vastly different than the second half of this event. And typically, the first half of the second half is not the same as the last 50 laps. That's when the intensity meter ratchets extremely high, and we'll see that a little bit later on tonight. Next up, another good race car in Riley Music. He's in danger of going a lap down. Riley is in the 17th spot, so Aiden may just be on a mission to put as many cars as he possibly can, -1 here this evening. As we look a little bit further back, here comes Butterbean. He's trying to make the pass now on Cole Bruce. That's going to be for position number 3 as they're negotiating. Atlee Weiss, the young racer here in car number 78, driving his Ford race car as they circle back to turns 3 and 4. And Butterbean is there trying to make a run, but they have multiple cars they're dealing with, not just the lead lap cars, now lapped cars they're having to contend with.
And this is where you just don't want to make a mistake. You want to get a real clear picture of what you have and what you want to talk to your team about and how you want to fix this race car, what you're lacking, what you need, just the small finite adjustments, which again is so finicky here at Langley Speedway because just very small adjustments. These drivers tell us that you have to be really precise. What you think is a really small adjustment can be a really big one here. So we'll see if Brendan Queen and the rest of these drivers can accomplish that feat as he's running all the way down to the apron trying to take this third spot away with 9 laps to go until the break.
Second through fifth are right there together. You could throw a blanket over them. That's how close they are as Butterbean gets out of shape coming out of turn number 4. He'll have to reload and try this one all over again. Less than 8 laps or so until we'll get the caution flag from NASCAR to slow this race and then ultimately bring these cars down pit lane to make adjustments. Now, how they enter the pits, they'll leave the pits in the same running order. As we're watching Butterbean try to mount another challenge now. He's about a half a car length behind Cole Bruce. Again, this is for third spot as they exit turn number 2. Your race leader on the opposite of the racetrack now, putting Riley Music -1 lap here as he puts now 94 on the scoreboard.
Yeah, Music, again, he's a weekly racer in an Elson Motorsports car. That's a fast car that just went a lap down. Landon Pimbleton, he won the Valley Star Credit Union 300 last year. He may be in danger of going a lap down. That is just so impressive what Aiden Millett's been able to accomplish in this second half of the race. And despite the fact that he's going through this lap traffic, that gap is still 2.5 to 3 seconds or so. He is not really slowed down. He's just been picking them up and putting them down one by one. Now, there is a lucky dog for that driver. That's the first car 1 lap down. He'll be waved around and able to get back on the lead lap, but Pimbleton might be in danger of that. And if Millett can catch some traffic in front of him, that won't even be an option for him. And once you're a lap down here, and there's maybe 5 or 6 cars a lap down, really difficult to try and come back from.
You're going to have to hope for a ton of caution flags. Here comes Butterbean, almost leaning on Cole Bruce, but they were separated. Did not make contact that last time through the corners. But again, this is a battle for position number 3. Cole Bruce has it. Brendan is trying lap after lap to make it happen. Got a little loose a few laps ago. Had to settle back in line, but now he's trying again. Again, we're less than a lap or 2 away from seeing the mandatory caution flag come out. To slow the Hampton Heat 200, our last caution flag came on the 31st lap around. So we've had multiple laps under the green flag, and now we will get that third caution flag here. This is the planned yellow flag, and it's going to come as the scoreboard is showing 98 on the board, and we're seeing Craig Estep may have a little smoke coming from the back of that race car as he takes it back to turns 3 and 4, and indeed, smoke coming from Craig Estep.
Well, and I think, again, they were going to let this play out. I imagine, and I'm sure we'll get a call from race control here if this will be the halfway break, is it looks like we've completed 97, so a couple of laps short. You mentioned the smoke there for the 25. They decided to throw the yellow, and I imagine that they will bring the cars in, and instead of doing a 1 or 2 lap shootout, that they're going to come here, and this would be, or end up becoming the halfway break.
Craig Estep from Pocosin in the Glenn's Maintenance and Mechanical Chevrolet is in the pits. The hood has gone up on that race car. That is not a good sign, as right now Craig Estep is being scored back in the 23rd position, -1 lap here at Langley Speedway, as 97 have been completed overall in this first half of the event. And again, this will likely be our halfway break. And so we'll see if that's the case. And indeed, if it is, there will be 103 more to go when we bring these cars back out here in just a little bit. So Aiden Millett continues to lead this race. He had a commanding lead until that caution flag come out. You can see he's put multiple cars -1 lap. The first car that is not a lap down is going to be, I believe, the Connor Waddell car. So maybe 17 cars, and we'll verify that here in a moment, that are on the lead lap.
Well, and I think that's what they're doing. They have some of the officials on the front stretch bringing some of those cars that were a lap down to the bottom to try to get the order sorted out. We'll see if that's because they want to set them up to go down pit road in that order. See a couple of teams put some headsets on and grabbing some jacks, so I feel like that's probably going to indicate that this will be the break, or at least that they're preparing for it. Brandon Lopez is slow on the backstretch right now. I'll tell you what, who was really happy to see that caution fall what it did was Landon Pimbleton, because he was about to go a lap down, and he gets to stay on the lead lap.
He is very thankful for that. Hearing now that there was a power line issue for our driver that is in the pits. A power steering line broke for Craig Estep, and that is the reason he is in the pit lane. So tough break for Craig Estep. Again, the hood has gone up on that race car. So we will use this caution flag to be our planned halfway break, even though we are 3 laps shy of the halfway mark. And we're told that the cars will be coming down pit lane. NASCAR will open pit lane this next time by. And again, each crew or each driver and their crews will have 10 minutes to work on their race cars. And I'm sure drivers are screaming, I need adjustments, maybe some air pressure adjustments. We're going to find out. But some drivers are happy with their cars, but I bet a majority are not happy.
Well, race car drivers are never happy, for one, but I imagine Aiden Millett is probably in a pretty good mood right now. Not only was he able to lead, but he built a dominating lead that, again, was never given up, never had to worry about it. So what an impressive opening stint he had. Again, it's one thing to do it for the first run. It's another thing to keep that same car for the second run. But what a great job that young driver did.
Indeed. Let's take a look at the running order at the halfway mark. It's Aiden Millett, your race leader. Woody Howard is being scored in second. Cole Bruce third. Brendan Butterbean Queen has worked up to fourth. Peyton Sellers rounds out your top 5 with Caden Guapel 6th. Trevor Ward is 7th, followed by Craig Edwards runs 8th. 9th is Ryan Matthews, and Carson Lofton rounds out the top 10.
Lee Pulliam was able to get up to 11th before that caution flag. Chase Bergeson runs in 12th. Trey Cruz is 13th. Matt Waltz was able to get up to 14th to stay on the lead lap, along with Cody Bryant in 15th. Pimbleton, the last car officially scored on the lead lap for now. Again, we'll have a lucky dog that will likely be awarded to Connor Waddell, currently scored in 17th. Riley Music 1 lap down in 18th. Brandon Lopez 19th. And Chase Burrows, some of the damage he got earlier, rounds out your top 20.
21st is Chase Johnson. Atlee Weiss is 22nd. Craig Estep currently being scored in 23rd, followed by Michael Bumgardner in 24th. Blake Stallings is 25th. Jamie York off the track in 26th. And out of the race is going to be Connor Hall, Bobby McCarty, and Chris Horton Jr. has never been able to complete a lap. And we see crew members are feverishly working on these cars. They know they only have 10 minutes to get it done here this evening, and I believe we're going to get the thoughts of the race leader here at lap number 97. We're going to get the thoughts from him here in a matter of moments. Aiden Millette has done a great job. He's put on a clinic here early on.
Yeah, and a good job there by Adam and crew. It's busy down there, but we still want to hear from him. What's the race leader got to say, Adam?
Well, let's ask him. Aiden, I think the question everybody in these grandstands and at home are asking, is this 9 car as good as it looks, my friend? It has been dominant up to this point. Do you have anything left for the second half?
Yeah, I think we got a really good car. My goal right there after I saw the 00 run straight through the 2 that early was to just try to get the lead and get a little gap because they were going really hard up there and I just didn't really want to get into anything. So I tried to get a lead and then just ride their pace. And I feel like I did a pretty good job of that. So we're going to put these 2 tires on and I think we got a really good car for the rest of the race.
You've been in this situation before, being sort of up front at the halfway point. What have you learned in your first full season of late model stock racing that can help you now going forward?
Just be patient, keep them rear tires on it. I think we got a really good shot. Just got to be patient and be there at the end of this last 100.
All right, that's your halfway leader, Aiden Millette, looking to get it done. He's going to get a $250 award presented by our friends at Forever Green Lawn Care, Brian.
How about it, Aiden Millette, your race leader here at what we're considering the halfway mark. 97 have been completed thus far in this event. So the rookie racer, he's not really a rookie, but for late model stock cars, he's considered a rookie, but he's turned many laps around this speedway. Another driver we've keeping an eye on, he had problems early on. I say problems, he wanted to make adjustments to that race car. The veteran competitor of Lee Pulliam. He's passed a ton of cars to work himself now into the 11th position.
Yeah, it's been, again, one of those things we mentioned, that Packer adjustment that they came down and made very early in this race, and clearly something that they wanted to go ahead and get out of the way, thought it was going to bother them the rest of the run, so they come down, they make that adjustment, and we saw how hard they were fighting. What did Bobby McCarty say? We're all back there, and we don't want to be back there. That's because they race harder for 15th or 20th as much as any position, because they're upset they're back there, the car's not handling great, so to work your way through a lot of that traffic, there's been a lot of drivers who have been able to do that. Lee being one of them, perhaps none better, though, than Brendan Queen getting up to 4th. Again, we had a lot of drivers, Cole Bruce and Woody Howard, that started up there. They're able to maintain, but Brendan did a really good job starting from where he did and making a lot of quick progress through the field.
Up 8 positions for Brendan Butterbean Queen. Again, Lee Pulliam up through the field now in the 11th spot. So the first half of the race is complete. Now we got the second half, and I have a feeling it's going to be a lot different here in this second half of the race. And speaking of Butterbean, let's hear from him.
The top 5. Brendan, how did the car feel in the first half of the race? How do you assess the first 100 laps?
Yeah, you know, it's a lot of just strategic movement, trying to plan for the second half. And we've been in this position a bunch and felt like last year we didn't quite have the track position at halfway and came up a little short. So this year I felt like I managed myself all race, had certain points in that run where I was going to push a little, back off, and try to take care of my left side since I got to run them all 200. But what a really good Town Benefits, Cummins, bestrepair.net. Everybody at Lee Point Performance brought a really good car, and I thought it would race good. I thought it felt good in practice today, and Greg Edwards actually tested it yesterday, said it was good, and I trusted him. And I think we have a shot. That's all you can ask for. But we're gonna try to put on a show for this B Nation crowd up here tonight.
You pushed a little bit harder in this first half. Do you feel like the rest of the field pushed a little bit harder? How were you relative to them, and how were they relative to you?
Yeah, I felt like not till right there at the end did I ever get sideways. I felt like I was a controlled push. Just kind of bouncing with my spotter, Anthony Warren, up there was giving me lap times and trying to manage. I kept asking him, do you think I need to back up? Do you think I need to go forward? We just felt like with our motor package, with them getting right side tires on these spec motors, we felt like we needed to have the track position to have a shot so we don't have to pass as many with a little less motor here. So we're going to do all we can to try to get that record-breaking 4th win tonight.
He knows what's on the line. He also knows that there might be a trip to Waffle House and an all-star special under his belly in a few hours if he can land in victory lane.
I like what he said, record 4th win.
Yeah, he knows. Again, these drivers, they're well aware, and especially when they have the opportunity to make history. And Brendan's a history buff. He knows the history of this place. He knows the greats. He knows what it means to be tied with somebody like a C.E. Falk, which is one of the best drivers to ever hop behind the wheel of a late model stock. And to have a chance to beat that record, really special for him.
Indeed. We're going to find out. Still 103 laps to go. Don't go anywhere. Back with more after these short messages. We're back in Hampton, Virginia, Larry King Law's Langley Speedway for the Hampton Heat 200. 97 of the 200 laps have been completed. We are just about done with this planned halfway stoppage, getting ready to put cars back on the racetrack. But let's go back trackside for a report.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Brian. I'm standing trackside here with a 22 car, Nelson Motorsports, a new driver. You guys talked about it. Young Riley Music, late model stock winner here and limited late model champion. He's strapping back into the car. Had a chance to catch up with the young man, currently P18. Car's a little tight on, so for the 22, he's fighting that front end. It doesn't want to turn for him when he gets back in the gas, so the crew went to work, made some adjustments. He's going to get a fist bump from Bandolero race winner Jace Rogers, and he's strapping back in, ready to attack another one.
Riley Music, -1 lap, hoping to take advantage of some caution flags and being the first car a lap down to get closer to getting back on the lead lap. Less than a minute or so until the work session will be completed. NASCAR will refire these cars, and we're going to go back after it. So at this point, you have to hope, as we're less than 30 seconds, that you've made the right adjustments for the second half of this race.
Well, again, that's why you had to come in with a game plan. You had to know what you wanted to change, and now it's going to be up to fate. It's up to the driver to go take a race car that you would hope would be better than what you had in the first half of the race and go out there and compete. And again, take everything you learned, not just from what your car did and what you did, but how everybody else was racing. And again, I keep coming back to this point and watching what Aiden Millett was able to do, and whether a lot of those drivers that we had in the top 5, what do they have left in the tank at the end of that run, and were they thinking about this second half of the race? You know, Brendan made a great point. He's thinking, I still have to save my left side tires. We know it's a 6-tire race. They're going to change what we imagine would be the right sides off these race cars, but they're going to have to take these left sides for the remaining 100 laps. So is that something that comes into play as well? It's again, that's why I love this race. You know, the unknown is so exciting.
Indeed. James Pike was talking about Butterbean Queen, just gave us a report that Butterbean is pushing a little bit, but his crew's telling him he's fine. They're pushing even harder behind him, so they feel good about what he has left for the second half of the race. Everybody getting 2 fresh new Hoosier tires that they have strapped on these race cars. They've likely swapped the left side of those tires that have remained on the car to give a new, or not a new, but they're going to move the front left tire to the rear of the car. So we'll see what we have in store. So did you use too much in this first half, or did you not use enough? Well, I hope you've left a little bit on those Hoosier tires so you have something for this second half of the race. We're going to find out. The story will be told in the last 30 laps.
Well, and I love hearing the thinking. Brendan and even some of the drivers that I talked to before this race happened was discussing kind of this shift in focus and having more track position. And Brendan said it, you know, during his interview, that I felt like I had a car that could get there. I just didn't have the track position to be able to do it, and that's been more of a focus for a lot of these teams this year over years past, and perhaps what we had with the old F45 tires. So I think we're going to come out here and you're going to see a lot of hard racing at the front of the field because they know how important that track position is going to be. I doubt we see Aiden Millett scurry away, but he also may just have that good of a race car. We don't know.
That's right. We're going to find out. Of course, we're speculating, and we'll see how it all pans out in this second half of the event. But I can assure you one thing. The passes were much easier in the first half. If easy is maybe not the right word, but they're not going to be as easy as they were in the first half because drivers are going to be racing a little bit harder on this second half of the event as we have begun moving cars off of pit lane, and we're going to get them in position here on the racetrack to go back after it.
Yeah, I saw Connor Waddell. We were going to have this awesome shot of both rows coming right at the camera. It was going to look sick, and then Connor Waddell had some trouble getting fired off at pit road, needed the help of the truck to go push him out. And so they'll bring out the entire outside row. Again, that's why they were very adamant about the order coming into the pit lane because they wanted everybody to be in the proper order lined up where they were going to come out so we can go back to racing very quickly.
That's right. Not much longer. We're going to be back under the green flag. 103 laps to settle the 2026 edition of the Hampton Heat 200. Again, leg 2 of 3, which will continue on in the month of September. So right now it's Aiden Millett that's been in command of this race. He has been the dominator thus far. We'll see if he's able to continue that ride in the second half of the event, but we're not going to count out anybody inside the top 10, maybe even inside the top 15. We've seen in years past where drivers have laid back only to come right up towards the front near the end of the event. What about Matt Waltz? We documented how he and Chase Burrow got together in the first half of the event. They actually brought out the first 2 caution flags, and really the only caution flags minus the Craig Estep smoke show there because of an issue he had on his race car, but that was back on lap 7 and lap 31. Where are they now? Well, as we documented when we did the running order for those 2 race cars, Matt Waltz is being scored in 14th place on the lead lap, but Chase Burrow is minus 1 lap in 20th. So those drivers are not where they wanted to be after qualifying inside the top 7. So again, not the night they wanted. And of course, the big storyline too, Connor Hall. We've talked about that for weeks now. Connor Hall's the favorite to get it done, and he's out of the race early as well.
Yeah, and again, I think he had a car that was capable of winning this race. He was up there in the top 5, and sometimes fate just isn't on your side, and getting a hole in a tire, that's just bad luck right there. But you know, that's why we run the race, and you never know what can happen. And of course, you know, he wants to win a second Hampton Heat so bad. Wouldn't be surprised if we see that car that is probably going to have the same amount of speed in it back in a year from now.
Absolutely. Talking about Connor Hall, if you're just joining us, coverage of the Hampton Heat 200. Connor had a tire issue, actually had a hole in the tire brought the car down on pit lane, already lost multiple laps, and they decided to call it a night because, again, this is not a points-paying race, but it is from a local standpoint, but it is a points event, if you will, for the Virginia Triple Crown, which has a huge bonus tied to it for the best average finish among the 3 races here in the Commonwealth, including South Boston Speedway, Langley Speedway, and Martinsville Speedway.
And that's another hit for Connor Hall. He finished 7th at South Boston. This is really going to hurt him. Caden Quapple, he finished 6th at South Boston. He's running 6th right now. I would imagine how things shake out that it would be pretty much he and Trevor Ward that would almost be in a tie as things stand in terms of average finish going into Martinsville with how they're running right now.
So we'll keep our eyes on that throughout the evening here in the second half of the event, which we anticipate will be much different than what we saw in the first half. We're coming to the Hydraulic Repair Corp Choose. Drivers will elect to go to the bottom of the racetrack or top side of the speedway. We are predicting that Aiden Millette will go to the bottom of the speedway, but we'll watch it play out as they're going to come here to the Choose, as we'll get 2 laps until we go back green flag racing. And just as we predicted, Aiden Millette goes to the bottom of the speedway, the Woody Howard car goes topside, and everybody electing to go where they want to be and where they think their car is best set up as we get set for the second half of the event. A tremendous crowd on display here tonight. They have shown up and they are ready to see a very exciting second half of this event to determine who is going to go to Victory Circle. We have a long ways to go. We're not going to etch any names and any trophies quite yet. Of course, the coolest of all trophies to be giving out here a little bit later on tonight. A lot of pride on the line.
Yeah, and the concourse was slammed. I stepped outside under our last commercial break and got to see, I can't imagine that there's many sets of redneck fries that are left with the line that they had. And again, they were moving quickly as they always do here at Langley Speedway, but just what a great job. They put on such a great event here. And, 10-minute break. It's a break for the fans, too, to be able to go, get refreshed, enjoy some redneck fries and all the amenities here at Langley, Larry King Law's Langley Speedway before lining them up and, to take in the last 100 laps.
That's right, and we're just about set. The field is forming down the backstretch. The lights have gone off the pace truck. We're just about set to resume the Hampton Heat 200. 97 down, 103 to go. Who's going to find victory lane? We're getting ready to settle it here this evening. Brandon Willard, the chief starter, waves the green flag. We're back underway here in Hampton.
Oh, and Brendan Queen just a little slow getting through the gears. The rest of the field's able to react, but it stacks up the outside line a little bit. Allows Cole Bruce in that 31 to make that move on the inside, move up a row. Lee Pulliam behind was able to get down to the bottom.
Oh, we got a car in the fence. That's going to be Atlee Weiss. Hard contact here in turns 3 and 4. We see the scuff mark. Atlee Weiss was out of shape, and that's going to put us under our 4th caution flag of the night because of a tough break by the number 78 Ford.
My goodness, you can see all the suspension damage that he has on that right front as he went into turn 3. And you can see the mark he left on the wall. That is that's a hard hit here at Langley. There's not a lot of banking here. Again, only 6 degrees to catch you. So if you have an issue, you're going in the corner. There's not really anything to slow you down. As we get one shot here, you can see out on the entry of the corner, he's already having that problem, and that is a hit that is going to ruin his night.
Violent hit towards the outside retaining wall for a very talented race car driver, also a talented announcer in Atlee Weiss. He's held the mic here for multiple races, but just a tough break. And there you see the scuff mark along the fence, and there we're watching the crew members look over that race car. Lots of damage. They're going to raise the hood and continue to assess, but this is not the night that Atlee Weiss wanted. It'll come likely to an end here at the 97th lap. Now, once the caution comes out, scoring reverts back to the last fully scored lap. So we went back under the green flag at lap 97, but the caution quickly came out, so we really didn't get another lap in. And there you see the damage to the tire, towed out. Just not the night he wanted, but that wall does not give.
No, it does not, and yeah, that's going to be damage that he cannot move forward with.
So Atlee Weiss is in the pits. His night will likely be over here as we are just shy of the official halfway mark of the event. I see James Pike is down there. He is looking things over as well. But that Ford Mustang is badly damaged. Also, Chase Johnson is in the pits with left damage to his race car. He's possibly involved in that. Left rear damage, I should say, on that race car. So he is also in the pits. So may have caught a piece of that action.
Yeah, well, that kind of indicates to me that maybe he gets into the right front of the 78, cuts that tire down going into the corner. I'd imagine, again, that may add up. We weren't able to see that, but definitely a potential cause of that issue there for Adley Weiss. Cut down that right front tire going into turn 3.
It's tough to call a race because there's so much action. You
can
pretty much look all over this racetrack and call something.
Well, I was even, and we've seen it a couple of times, that when the caution flag does come out here at Langley, it is tough. Again, they have a great lighting system here, so if you're anywhere on the track and you're a driver, you can see the caution lights, the wheel-in caution lights that are all around this racetrack. They're very easy to spot. But again, you're constantly in a turn. You're using a little bit of brake here already, so and it's low grip. So whenever the caution flag comes out, I'm looking at the field because we've already seen a couple times tonight that after the caution flag flies, we see contact just from everybody trying to slow down and take care of each other. And especially when they come early after these restarts, it's something just trying to watch everybody take care of each other and slow down and not run into each other. It's hard to do here.
Indeed, that is the case. Let's get the thoughts from Adley Weiss.
Adley Weiss out of this race just before the halfway point.
Happened. So I know the spots on the restart are free. I wanted to try to get as much as possible. So I shot down to the 57, and I got into him a little bit. I guess it cut my tire, and I went into 3 and 4, and that car wouldn't turn at all, and it went straight in the wall. And I hate it for my guys. We put in a lot of work all week. Definitely got to thank, After Hours Race Cars, Wands, Auto Street, Close Shop, Colonial Aesthetics, and Bay Custom for all their support. And we'll get back out here. I hate it, but it's part of it, and, we'll come back out strong.
For the night here in the Hampton Heat.
Tough break for Adley Weiss, who was hoping to log all 200 laps, but that will not be the case this evening. They're going to call it early here in Hampton, Virginia. One more lap. We're going to go back after it one more time. Take 2. We talk about normally getting into a rhythm. We're having a hard time getting this second half going.
Well, that's again, you always say the first half and the second half of this race never seem to follow the same tune. And the second half of this race playing out like that. We did see some early yellows in the first half, but we'll see if we can't get going. And again, I just want to see if anybody has anything for Aiden Millett so far tonight and what he's been able to pull off so far.
He appears to be the car to beat. As we are entering in turn number 3, the safety truck is going to quickly pull away, make the hard left down pit lane. We're about set to restart this one more time. Take 2 at lap number 97. Green flag is in the air. We're back underway here at Langley Speedway. 2 by 2 at a high rate of speed, but this time, Woody Howard may make hay. Don't count out Cole Bruce. He is there within striking distance. The 2 leaders make contact. Aiden Millett. Woody Howard washes up the speedway. Millett will hold on to the lead. Now Howard's fighting to keep second.
Oh, and Howard, that's an aggressive cut down, but he is able to get there just before Peyton Sellers is able to stay to his inside. Brendan Queen on the outside of this restart. You can see the cars fighting the ride height and those tires with the air pressure low after these restarts, hitting the ground and trying to make up spots can be really difficult, as Brendan Queen not deterred at all, staying on the outside of Woody Howard. 2 former
big time problems behind them. Cars stacking up through turns 3 and 4. Everybody's moving, but Lee Pulliam catches a piece of that action. He is going to come down pit lane. Carson Lofton with significant damage as well. And we are slowed for the 5th time here, this time at lap 99.
Yeah, Pulliam pulled it right into the pits, and Lofton with huge damage. It's dragging that race car around.
So lap number 99, we made it 2 laps to get the next caution flag. This is the 5th one of the evening. It was a tremendous stack up in turns 3 and 4, cars bouncing off of one another, and that necessitated NASCAR to put the caution flag out. But I think this is a classic case of limited real estate. There you see the significant damage to Carson Lofton, who was riding in the 12th position. Lee Pulliam was just ahead of him in 11th. So we're not talking at the back half of the field. We were right just outside of the top 10 when major calamity took place. And we happened to look up and we saw sparks flying. We saw cars moving left and right, bouncing off of one another. It was certainly calamity down in turns 3 and 4. And pit road has become a very busy place. Lee Pulliam's car is made the hard left. They have put the window net down, or he's put the window net down. They have raised the hood. They are taking the left front tire off, or they're at least looking over the left front tire. Now we see the Carson Lofton car has made it down into the pits as well. They are jacking the right side of that car up to see what they need to do to try to help him. But Carson Lofton's crew says Brian Schaefer does it again. Right side is killed, they said. So nevertheless, not happy here as we're hearing some communication over the radio. But nevertheless, pit road is busy. And no surprise, this one we talked about at the intensity meter. Everybody is fighting a little bit harder to get to the front of the field. And we know the best time to pass, it's on these race restarts. You need to pounce, and you need to pounce fast.
Yeah, and I just wonder if for Lee Pulliam, again, he doesn't have a whole lot of damage. You can see they were messing around there on the left front of that car. They took that tire off, put it back on. But I think also trying to take advantage of this time. Again, as soon as the caution was come out, Pulliam pulls down to the pits, and I think probably making a very similar adjustment to what we saw at the beginning of this race, if I had to imagine, if he's hitting the ground a little bit too hard on these restarts.
And Adam has a report for us.
That's right, guys. I'm down here in the 8 camp with Junior Motorsports. The Lee Pulliam machine is already on his way back out. It was a left front tire replacement for the number 8 Chevrolet. Also, Lee thought so hard that it knocked the toe out. Looks like that's to be the case. And no harm, no foul, just a left front tire replacement on the number 8.
He is back out on the racetrack, but Lee Pulliam, it's like a yo-yo night for him. Was running somewhat strong, then had to go to the back of the pack after coming in the pits earlier. Worked himself all the way up, almost to the top 10. He was in the 11th position. Now he's had to come back down pit lane and make some adjustments, change the tire, as you just heard. He is back out on the racetrack. Fortunately for him, he still has 101 laps to go if he wants to make his way back to the front for the number 8 NASCAR Channel Chevrolet. Going to get the indication, 1 to go this time by. We will be back at a high rate of speed here in less than a lap for these late model stock cars in America's hottest race of the year. And we are watching that on full display here in southeastern coastal Virginia. So it's Aiden Millett, Cole Bruce. They're going to make that Aiden Millett and the 41 race car. Woody Howard are going to make up row 1. Cole Bruce is actually going to elect to restart on the bottom of the racetrack. He'll restart in P3 with Butterbean. Brendan Queen, he'll fire off outside of row 2 in the 4th spot. Row 3 is going to be the Peyton Sellers race car number 26 with Caden Quapple starting in position number 6. 99 down, 101 to go. Will we get some long green flag runs going, or will we see that yellow flag come back out pretty quickly? We're getting ready to find out. They're coming to the CorvettePart.net restart zone presented by King Parts. Our drivers stand on the throttle, work the gearboxes back to turns 1 and 2. Aiden Millett tries to clear the Woody Howard car. Cole Bruce looks on, and indeed Millett will clear for the lead in 3.
As we get more of these restarts, patience is starting to wear thin. Oh, Chase Burrow spins off of turn 4 and just talked about it. It's the pressure is picking up here as a little bit of contact back in the field. And again, Burrow luckily able to get that car stopped just at the entry of the pit. In fact, it's right in front of where his crew is. So it makes it convenient for them to come down and try to make some adjustments. But again, got tagged in the middle of 3 and 4 and not able to find a rhythm to this race. Again, we haven't been able to complete a lap here officially since the halfway break because everybody has to come around and hit the scoring loop to be able to count a lap, and we haven't gotten that yet since the halfway break.
Indeed, that is the case. We put the caution out back on lap number 97. That was our 3rd, and now we have doubled that. We are up to number 6 with the scoreboard showing 100 on it as we just watched the 00. the King William, Virginia driver, the Medicorp Ford go around in Chaseboro. He was able to just simply quickly roll to his pit. As Blake McCandless mentioned, his pit was right there after he went for the spin. Crew members looked that car over and they quickly put him back out on the racetrack. So we're just about set to continue here. So this should be a quick caution flag, but nevertheless, we have had a rash of cautions, 3 within 3 laps. So 100 officially on the board, 100 more to go. And will we see another one, another lap or two, or will we get some rhythm at some point? I'm sure this is getting frustrating for our drivers.
Well, and again, this is something that makes it difficult when we talk about the adjustments that these drivers had. Again, they did have the opportunity to put fuel in their race car if they want to. Now, with these drivers and teams, it seems to be the going that you don't want to put too much in. You want your car to be a little bit lighter, and you can use that a little bit as a handling adjustment as well. But with that, if you have a bunch of caution laps that maybe you weren't planning on, that's where it can get a little bit uneasy for some of these teams, as we again haven't completed an official lap. But think of the 3 or 4 laps, give or take, that we completed under green, as well as all these caution laps, can be something that further down in this run, if we don't get going, definitely have to think about it.
Indeed we will, because drivers, crew chiefs, crew members, they get creative. They know less fuel equals less weight on the race car, so they all have an idea of how many caution laps they're going to log. They've put that in the calculator into their equation as to how much fuel they need. And so if we get too many more cautions, I'm sure some could be a little bit worried, but we'll find out here as we get set to go back racing here. And about a couple of laps from now, we just took advantage of the Hydraulic Repair Corp shoes. Aiden Millette once more went to the bottom of the speedway, just like he's done pretty much all evening long. Woody Howard will go top side of the racetrack. Cole Bruce will restart inside of road number 2 in the 3rd spot, with Brendan Queen restarting in 4th. So pretty much everybody's back where they were, with the exception now Greg Edwards will be joined alongside the number 26 of Peyton Sellers to make up row 3. Greg Edwards will restart in position number 6. Behind them in the 7th spot now is going to be Caden Guapel. One more lap. We'll go back after it once more. So we are now officially at the halfway mark, 100 down, 100 more remain. And again, we've talked about it. Can anybody get around car number 9, or has somebody done a really good job of conserving their Hoosier tires so they have more speed as we enter the second half of this event?
Now, one thing that happened because we've had so many yellows, Carson Lofton's back on the track, and he hasn't lost a lap because we haven't officially completed one, so he may be back in this thing.
Indeed, that is the case. We're set one more time. Pace truck hits pit lane. Blake, we're going back green flag racing. Beautiful sound as these stock cars rumble by us here high atop the front straightaway as we're watching Aiden Millette quickly skirt out in the lead, but they're going to stack them up 2 by 2 behind them, and we'll get a clean lap here at 101 as Butterbean is going to try to clear the Peyton Sellers car to confirm the 4th spot. He'll do that now as he's going to put the nose of the car on the inside of Woody Howard, potentially exiting turn number 4 as Cole Bruce is going to try to clear for that 2nd spot, and indeed he will. Woody Howard quickly gets in line, protects the bottom of the racetrack, but that may not be enough. Butterbean is there. He's going to make another attempt in 3.
Yeah, if you think the intensity hasn't picked up, we're running about a second faster than what we were at the end of that last run to come to the halfway break. So these drivers, I think, certainly understanding the situation about these restarts and it being necessary that you have to get these positions, you have to race hard to try and get your track position right now, as the pace has picked up even 4 or 5 laps into a run over what we saw several drivers almost running their fastest laps of the night that last time by. So the pace has picked up here.
Indeed it has. The top 2 are turning 16.7 second laps here as they have circled this course, putting them back now to 105. But I can say this go around that the 31 of Cole Bruce has not gotten too far behind Aiden Millette. Looking a little further back, we're watching Peyton Sellers. He right now occupies the 5th spot as we have a big-time bobble further back in the pack, but they'll gather it back together. Meanwhile, Peyton Sellers, here comes the 88 of Caden Guapel. Guapel rides in 6th spot, just ahead of the 8-time Langley Speedway champion of Greg Edwards in car 21.
Yeah, that was Brandon Lopez in the number 6 that got out of shape. He was able to collect it, but not before he lost a couple of spots. So we continue back under green as Guapel trying to set up a move on Peyton Sellers at the moment to try and get by that 26 car. And I think we're at that point of the race where Sellers, you can see defending right now. Remember, he was doing something similar at South Boston, had a little bit of contact with Landon Pimbleton, and that ended up ending his Thunder Road Harley-Davidson 200 winning chances early. He rebounded back for 17th. But with how this race has played out, I don't blame Sellers for being really aggressive here defending this position, because he's in Triple Crown contention. We've seen a lot of your favorites. Connor Hall, he's out of this race. Blake Stallings is several laps down after a strong run at South Boston. So we're looking at a very small select group of drivers that haven't had a major issue in these first 2 races of the Triple Crown.
And looking at our drivers that are simply pushing the go button, the best lap for Butterbean in this race came at lap number 102, and Peyton Sellers just turned his fastest lap of the race on lap number 106. These drivers know they got to go, and they want to go now to get in the best possible spot that will get them in a good run to get to the victory here in this event as we come to the closing laps. I say that, we're still a long ways from that. We're at lap 111, still 89 remain. Here comes the 88 once more. He's going to make another run on Peyton Sellers on the bottom of the racetrack. Sellers about a half a group higher than the Guapel race car, and he'll continue to follow in his tire tracks. Guapel, again, that strong run just a few months ago here at this speedway, back at it for his very first Hampton heat, and he's hoping to become just a handful of drivers that have been able to pick up their first start, which would result in a Hampton heat win, including a NASCAR star like Josh Berry, who did it a few years ago.
Keeping my eye on the 00 in the 8 car, and there he goes. Chase Burrow in turn 2 gets spun out by Lee Pulliam. Again, this was an incident we saw I saw it a couple of laps ago. You can look at the 8 car and you see a ton of left rear damage. That was Burrow getting into the back of Lee Pulliam a couple of laps ago. It took the 8 car a couple of circuits around to try and catch the 00 and return the favor as soon as he got to Chase Burrow.
Caution flag number 7 here at lap number 113 because of a spin by Chase Burrow, who had help potentially from the NASCAR Channel Chevrolet number 8, that being Lee Pulliam. And we watch them race back into turns 1 and 2. Pulliam on the bottom of the racetrack. There's the contact as the two get together. Chase Burrow facing oncoming traffic momentarily. Drivers behind him taking evasive action to the bottom of the racetrack and to the top to avoid hitting Chase Burrow. But I think Burrow has spent more time in his pits than any other driver this evening.
Yeah, and he's been going at it despite the fact the car looks relatively clean for how many skirmishes he's been involved in. But again, you could see that left rear damage that Pulliam had. That was contact that these two had that they had tried to settle maybe 4 or 5 laps prior. But Chase Burrow right now, again, he was able to get back on the lead lap. Again, we had so many caution flags. We didn't complete laps, but we did have cars that took the lucky dog and were able to get back on the lead lap. Burrow was one of them with all the string of yellows we had to start this second half of the race. And yeah, just going to be one of those days for Chase Burrow.
Indeed, and we talked about that. If we get a rash of caution, if that first half of the race, we had multiple drivers go a lap down, and a lot of those drivers are the beneficiaries of all these caution flags, because the first car that's -1 lap on every caution has a chance to get the free pass to get back on the lead lap. And Lee Pulliam and Chase Burrow, when they got in that crash, they were running 20th and 21st. Now we see Matt Walsh, your defending champion, is in the pits. Crew members are looking things over, and they likely will raise the hood of that car. And we do see some damage to the left rear of the Lee Pulliam race car. You see it's pushed in there. Race team members, that is, looked things over, thought he was going to be okay to continue. But nevertheless, it's been a difficult night for Lee Pulliam, a former winner of this race.
That's the damage that he was upset about. But guess what? Chase Burrow is going to restart 2 car lengths behind him. So we'll see what happens on this restart.
Drivers do not forget.
No, they never do.
And they simply will likely repay any favors.
Whether it was 3 laps or 3 decades ago, they do not forget.
Very good point. We're being told a shock bar adjustment has been made for Matt Waltz. That's why he came down to the pits, was not happy with the handling of that car. They made the adjustment and have sent him back on the speedway. Less than a lap from trying this once more. 113 laps have been completed here this evening in the second half of the 18th annual Hampton Heat 200, and we have seen a rash of cautions. We have had a total of 4 in the last 17 laps. The field is getting set to come to the CorvetteParts.net restart zone presented by King Parts. It's Aiden Millett alongside Woody Howard as they go back after it. The Hampton Heat continues here in Hampton. How about it? Top side of the racetrack. Would this be a good restart for Woody Howard? How about Aiden Millett? He's going to put it back down on the bottom of the racetrack and try to defend and hold on to his lead. But Woody Howard is muscling his way to the top side of the track.
Howard looking strong. Aiden Millett trying to fend him off, but it looks like Howard's going to be able to do it. And the fans here, they appreciate the driver that's been here for so long trying to fight it out. They're cheering him along to try and push him by that 9 car, and they're able to do it. 85 to go. New leader of the Hampton Heat, it's Woody Howard, but for how long?
That's right, Woody Howard has it, but will Aiden Millett take it back from him? Millett is trying. He is digging as hard as he can. He puts the nose in the back of the Woody Howard race car. Goes to the bottom of the racetrack, side by side for the lead. It's a hornet's nest behind him. They're almost 3 wide for position number 4. Aiden Millett drives it in hard.
He missed the corner. Woody Howard has to back up. That allows Butterbean to go to the inside to try and take the second position away, and he's going to be able to do it.
3 wide behind them. Butterbean is up to the runner-up position. We've got battles all the way around this speedway.
Oh, Cole Bruce laying into the back of that 26 the entire corner. He's kind of been in the middle here. He's been used up a little bit by a couple of these drivers up in the top 5. He's been falling back.
This has not been the restart Cole Bruce wanted inside the top 3. He is all the way back to 7th and fighting to keep that as we watch these cars come back and now put 119 on the board. 81 remain. Everybody is chasing race leader Aiden Millett, but Cole Bruce is going the wrong direction. Here comes Greg Edwards. He wants the 6th spot, and he'll take it.
Yeah, Greg Edwards just been kind of seeing what's going on in front of him, which has been a lot to try and take in for the driver's seat. How about these 2 drivers, Trevor Ward, Connor Waddell, kind of quietly just been lurking inside of the top 10. Haven't made much of a splash yet, but again, a solid run there. We mentioned Trevor Ward. He nearly won at South Boston Speedway. A 9th place finish would give him a pretty good average, 5.5 going into Martinsville. That's something he can contend for another Triple Crown. And oh, by the way, of course, he's won that race before, so we know what he's capable of. He's able to get that spot from Connor Waddell.
Oh, we got problems here in turn number 2. 1 car is going to go around. It's going to be the 51 of Michael Bumgarner. He has problems. He was running in the 16th position. He'll grab a gear and continue, but that is going to put us now under our 8th caution flag after Chase Johnson has big-time front-end damage.
That is big-time damage for Chase Johnson in the number 57. Again, these 2 were battling it out in the back of the field. Again, they're running 19th for Chase Johnson, 16th for Michael Bumgarner. Yeah, the right front fender, a lot of body work, just completely sheared off the front of this race car.
Chase Johnson from Midlothian, Virginia, 18 years of age, started back in 27th, a 3rd-generation racer who competes and is a winner at Dominion Raceway in his Toyota, and it has bad damage. You see the crew members are just saying we are pretty much done for the evening, and big-time damage for that driver. Looks like Cody Bryant, the parts barn.
Yeah.
Chevrolet also in the pits with problems.
I was just going to mention, I saw a little bit of right front fender damage here on the 08, and yep, you can see the crew going to work on that, trying to tape up the nose of that race car. Again, aerodynamics not going to play a huge part here at Langley, but with how late model stock car racing is here, even here, you want everything you can get. So they'll try to tape down that hood, make sure that splitter's on the ground.
Dad Charlie Bryant down there assessing what's going on with that race car. Mikey Chin is also looking things over. Justin Bond also on the team trying to help and get this car back out. They're going to put some tape on the hood to make sure that it doesn't flop up and to keep him in the best shape he can be. That 100-mile-per-hour tape that they're using right now on the pit lane. So once again, pit lane is busy. And for the Hampton Heat 200, this would be a little bit unusual to have this many cautions this early on in the event.
Yeah, it's it feels like it's the last 15 laps of the race right now with how everybody is racing. But I think that's the desperation. You know, in Hampton Heat's past, you would have to think about, okay, what am I going to have for the last 20 or 30 laps in terms of tire saving? Well, that mentality seems to be going out the window, and you have to get it now. You have to get it while it's in front of you. You have to try and get those spots on these restarts, and I think that's what's kind of driving, you know, these drivers to try and get everything they can as early as they can.
Indeed, that is the case. We're averaging about 4 laps for every caution since lap number 97. So about 4 laps every time is all we're getting in. And it has been a wild roller coaster of events here since lap number 97, and that just continues here tonight. Baumgartner, we're told, is not happy. Sounds like he thinks Lee may have been responsible for that, as we're getting communication from the radio. So we'll see how that precipitates, or what takes place, I should say, when we do go back green flag racing. So again, more caution laps. I think we're probably already at lap 200 if we counted the caution flags here this evening, because we have certainly turned many laps, but we are only counting green flag laps in this 18th annual Hampton Heat 200 tonight here at Langley Speedway. And right now it continues to be Aiden Millett at the head of the field, as we do see Baumgartner and the Chase Burrow cars coming back out onto the speedway. So it shouldn't be too much longer. We're going to go back green flag racing, as look who's up to second spot right now behind race leader Aiden Millett.
Yeah, Brendan Queen able to get up to that second spot. We've talked a lot about him tonight, and he's certainly going to be a factor in how this race finishes out. But want to kind of give a shout to a couple of drivers that maybe we haven't mentioned so much here tonight, that with some of the attrition and things that are going on, you know, they have an opportunity to move up there to the top 10. Right now, Trey Cruz catches my eye. He finished well and was consistent at South Boston a couple of weeks ago for that race, puts himself in position. He's currently running in 11th. Chase Bergeson's done a really solid job. He's running just behind him in 12th. And then Riley Music, we talked about him going a lap down earlier in this event. He's since gotten back in the lead lap. He's up to 13th. And again, some of those race cars looking a little bit stronger than what they had in the first half of this race.
Talk about a turn of events for Riley Music in the last 25 laps or so to find himself back on the lead lap, and he is now inside the top 13. All right, 2 more laps. We're going to go back green flag racing. That means it's time to choose inside or outside, presented by HRC. And Butterbean is going to be on the front row with Aiden Millett in the 03 Dodge as we get set to go back green flag racing. We've got the 41 of Woody Howard behind Millett, and look who's up to 4th. This was one of the drivers I mentioned early on to keep your eyes on. Would not be surprised for him to find a victory lane. Caden Guapel, he's going to restart this event in position number 4. Again, just 121 laps. That means we still have 79 laps to settle here this evening. Musco lights fully illuminating now, as we had a beautiful sunset as the skies cleared with rain in the area over the last couple of days. But that is not the case here tonight with a packed house that are enjoying a great event. We're glad you're tuned in on FloRacing, watching with us here in Hampton, Virginia, and it has been a fantastic race thus far. I'm excited to see what these last 79 laps has in store.
What do they say in pre-race ceremonies? This may be the coolest Hampton Heat, but they were going to put a hot race on the track, and the tempers are pretty hot right now. They are definitely delivering on that front. It's still a Hampton Heat.
It indeed is. Those were the comments by Bill Mullis, the captain, the owner of Langley Speedway. Pace truck is behind pit lane wall. The green flag is back out. We're running once more. The leader, Aiden Millett, sideways. It turns 1 and 2. It collects Brendan Queen. Queen goes for a spin. Greg Edwards gets in the driver's side of Queen, with Edwards having nowhere to go. A major stack up here on this race restart for another favorite who has problems, and that's going to quickly put us under now our 9th caution flag of the night. Major problems at the head of the field. We documented Aiden Millette was out of shape going into turn number 1 on the restart. Contact was made. Brendan Queen went around in turns 1 and 2. Greg Edwards, who was riding in the 6th spot, slammed on the brakes, tried to avoid hitting Queen, had nowhere to go, wrong place at the wrong time. There we see the 21 race car. That is Greg Edwards. We documented the 8-time champion trying to find his first Hampton heat in the Danny's Glass Chevrolet from Pocosin. Looks like he's going to make the hard left and maybe calling it a night, but certainly some disappointment for the J&J Clearing and Demolition race car as he has gone to the pits, and NASCAR has elected to stop this field here in turn number 3, although we're still under the yellow flag. So again, another problem here on the racetrack. This time it's at the front of the field, and we say that is always the worst place for drivers to be out of shape because it stacks up the entire field. Here's a look at the FloRacing replay coming to the restart at lap number 121. There's Aiden Millette, bottom of the racetrack. Does he get a help, or does the car simply just break loose? Looked like he just got loose, and then you see the contact was made. It stacked up the entire field. We're going to slow it down now and watch it once more. There you see the 9 going into turn number 1.
Yeah.
The back end just simply kicks out.
Yeah, that looks like it was probably a result of that stack up behind him. I mean, it's Howard who's into Sellers, who's into Bruce. They're all stacking up there trying to get into 1 and 2, and Millette trying to chase it up the racetrack to be able to save that race car. Tags Brendan Queen, who again is in a vulnerable spot right in the middle of the racetrack in front of the entire field. And if anything, I know that's not good for Edwards to get in there, but nothing that he could really do. But that could have been much, much worse, the fact that we only had 2 cars really involved in that incident.
2 Hampton favorites in the pits. We're told the radiator has been broke. A radiator is causing problems there for Greg Edwards, and that's why he has officially retired from the event. Now, Brendan Queen, his crew, looking that car over. You see the significant damage after the Edwards car got into the driver's side of Brendan Queen after it went for that wild ride in turns 1 and 2. You heard Blake talk about how Riley went up the track to correct the car. It just simply came up and got into this back of Brendan Queen, sending him spinning right at the front of the field, and Greg Edwards having nowhere to go but just creams the side of Brendan Queen. So the crew quickly going to work to see what they can do to get this car corrected.
And again, they're taking some time, the track officials are, to kind of assess turn 2. It looks like they're putting some speedy dry down there. There was a little bit of debris out there as well that they had to go ahead and pick up there. They were able to get that relatively quickly, but just making sure, taking some time to ensure that everything is okay with the racetrack out there with some of the fluids that may have been coming out. You mentioned that radiator issue with the 21 of Greg Edwards, so just doing their due diligence here to make sure the track's okay. You're hoping, and again, Queen, I don't want to say he was lucky because he certainly was not, but that contact not hitting right in the left front tire is hopefully something that made the damage, or could make the damage, a little more tolerable to try to move forward here.
If you're just tuning in at FloRacing, we are at lap 121. We're still early on in this event. Still a lot of laps to go. 79 green flag laps remaining. We have had a rash of cautions. Our 9th coming out because of a big-time problem at the head of the field with Brendan Queen going around. That's 2 Hampton favorites that have visited pit lane, including Connor Hall, who's out of the race, and now Brendan Queen, who's still in the race. They are just working on that car. Now, we are under the caution officially, even though we have stopped the cars here on the racetrack to allow officials to clean up turn number 2. You heard Blake talk about moisture being applied to the racetrack. We want to make sure we get that up. That's why the Speedy Dry has been applied to the racetrack to absorb that moisture, and as soon as we get that up, we will get these cars back rolling once more. So again, cautions breed cautions, but this has been a lot here this evening.
Yeah, it's just been a very, very aggressive racing from the outset, and kind of just a different, I guess, different timing, but kind of along the lines of what Bobby McCarty was talking about at the very beginning of this race, where he thought it was really early for drivers to be making some mistakes and making some of those aggressive moves, particularly when they were racing in the back of the field. But now that we're in the last 100 laps of this race, we've been seeing those moves being made front, back, center, everywhere in this field right now. And unfortunately, it's just one of those things that once it starts, it never really stops because everybody thinks that next opportunity or that next stoppage is going to be the one where they need to be out front. And I think this is why, again, really smart on a young driver from Aiden Millett who said that his strategy to kind of get out front was more so born out of, I didn't want to get in any of this mess, and yet he was leading going down into turn one, and he still couldn't avoid it that last restart.
Getting reports now that Brendan Queen's team have replaced the right rear tire along with some other damage that they have gone to work on the Butterbean car. So they are going after it to get him back out on the track. Remember, caution laps are not counting, so he is able to continue in this race on the lead lap if they're able to get that car back out on the racetrack. Now we see Aiden Millett.
Actually, correction there, left rear tire. Left rear tire. Thank you, Adam Welbrock, for that.
And let's get a report from James.
Chase Johnson with heavy damage to the front end of his machine. Chase, what did you see and what has the racing been like out there since we went back to green flag after the halfway break?
It's been terrible. Everybody's kind of just lost their heads. I've seen literal 5-year-olds race better than this. You know, these are it's supposed to be the best drivers in the country, and you know, I wish we would race like it. I know we can, but I don't know why everybody just gotta, you know, turn it into a wreck fest. Yeah, I don't know. I don't get it, and I don't know. We need to do better than that.
What happened to your car in that?
Yeah, I mean, they were somehow got 3 wide in front of me and just beating and banging, and I was just trying to follow Lee through there. I was kind of in awe for a second following a veteran like Lee and getting to learn as much as I can, and I guess somebody spun out or something. I couldn't really see. I was so far tucked up Lee's bumper, I never had a chance to react there. But that's just part of racing. We'll come back and just keep building a notebook. I mean, I feel like we keep getting better and better. We made some good adjustments at the halfway break, and I felt like we made the car a lot better for that second half. And I felt like we were going to get a decent finish out of it until that happened. But I just can't thank On Call Concrete enough, Kawicki Driver Development Program, Farmer Machine, LA Engineering, all my great sponsors. Meineke for coming on board for this race. There's so many that I'm forgetting about that I got to thank. So I just got to thank all my great sponsors, all my crew for letting me to be able to do this. And I don't know, I wish we were getting interviewed under better circumstances, but that's okay.
Worth noting also that I kept an ear on Brendan Queen's radio right after that incident. He asked the crew, did I do anything wrong in that? And they said no, Aiden Millett was spinning and he was going to spin until he hit you, and then he hit you and it sort of corrected him.
Tough break for multiple drivers here during this most recent caution flag now, and we're being told that a broken track bar for the number 9 car, and he will likely, a sway bar that is, and he is going behind the wall. So the driver who was dominating is now going to be out of this event, and you have Butterbean Queen at the back of the field.
And that's the thing, as we start to kind of take out some of these heavy hitters, you start to wonder, okay, well, you know, these guys that have kept their race cars clean, that have been running in the 5th or 6th position throughout, do they have something that can go out here and be able to put a race together? Woody Howard, we know he's been at the front of the field. Quapple was able to carve his way through the field early. 80 laps to go, restarting on the front row. His car looks pretty clean right now.
Getting set to go back after it here this evening. Pace truck hits pit lane, 79 laps to go. Woody Howard along the front row with the 88 of Caden Quapple. They're going to go side by side, and as quickly as I say that, Woody Howard squirts out in the lead. The 88 of Quapple is going to try to make hay now as they go back to 3.
My goodness, Trey Cruz just made an incredibly aggressive move in the middle 3 wide, but it worked. He was able to move up about a row. He's up to 6th in that number 10 car. Again, haven't talked much about him tonight, but just made an incredible move on that restart to try and get by Connor Waddell. He's up into 6th. Is Woody Howard right here holding on to the race lead.
Major change inside the top 5 as heavy hitters including Aiden Millett is out after this most recent incident at Langley Speedway. Woody Howard is the common theme, but now he's fighting to stay ahead of Caden Guapel as they work out of turn 4. And I talked with Aiden before the race started. He said we just needed some luck, and unfortunately that's not going to be the case here this evening. Top 2 working out of turn number 2 and down the back straightaway. We are logging some green flag laps at the moment. Brendan Butterbean Queen is still in this race. He's at the back of the field. He's got a lot of cars to pick off, but he still has 75 laps to make his way back to the front. The top 2 have checked out by about 5 car lengths or so. Over third place is Peyton Sellers. So this is going to be a 2-car battle for the top spot as they race back to the start-finish line.
And so many names starting to emerge up here at the front of the field. Guys like Trey Cruz that we just mentioned up into 5th. Matthews up into 6th. Here we go. Battle for the lead. Quapple to the inside of Woody Howard, who's not going to put up much of a fight. Caden Quapple leading here in the Hampton Heat.
How about that? We now have a 4th different driver up front. This time it's Caden Guapel and his number 88 Chevrolet leading this parade. Woody Howard falls into the clutches of Caden Guapel. He rides P2. Peyton Sellers is 3rd, and now a 4th car has emerged. We're talking about the Cole Bruce race car. So 4 cars all within striking distance as we have multiple cars getting together in the back half of this field, including Lee Polium. Look at the 8 car all in the back bumper of him. Connor Waddell right there as well. A correction. That is indeed the Connor Waddell car as he's going to work on Lee Waddell. There you see the Matt Waltz car as well as they work out of turn number 2. This is certainly a hornet's nest down the backstretch.
Yeah, this is where everything has kind of come unraveled, and there you see the 0-3 of Brendan Queen also trying to march back up through the field. Pimbleton just behind him in the middle, 3 wide. Cody Bryant going to shove it down into turn 1. Pimbleton able to hang on to it. My goodness, it's just so aggressive back here, and again, they know they have to go chase these drivers down. It's incredible to think that all that's happened to so many of the drivers you see on this screen. Waltz, who's been in multiple incidents with Chase Burrow. Brendan Queen, who had the problem earlier. Lee Polium, who's been involved in a number of incidents today. They're up here in the top 10 as Peyton Sellers had a huge moment on the front straightaway, and he saves it.
We were looking at a replay from a couple of laps ago. There's just been so much excitement as you see Lee Polium and the Waddell car get together. That's why Waddell repaid the favor as Lee Polium stuffed it in there in turns 1 and 2. Connor Waddell was not happy with that. While we were watching that, we also had a big moment for the 26 race car. We got a car around here in turn 4. Chase Burrow has gone around once more, and that will necessitate our 10th yellow flag of the evening. Chase Burrow once again with problems here at lap number 133. He has gone around in turn number 4. Chase Burrow, we'll get a count here on how many times he's been involved in incidents. The ultra-talented driver, I should say. He has won in multiple forms of racing. He has won the Z-Max Cars Tour race. He's won on dirt, asphalt, and he is just having all kinds of problems here this evening, not having the luck that we are used to seeing with Chase Burrow. But again, the caution flag has been displayed now for the 10th time this evening, and we are just at lap number 133.
And hearing that it may have been some contact with Carson Lofton, I think in car number 20 is what we're hearing from our pit reporters down trackside that had a pretty good vantage point of that incident.
They were battling for 18th position, Carson Lofton and Chase Burrow. So Chase Burrow, once he went to the back after that very early spin, as we documented, that took place at lap number 7 when he was inside the top 5. He has never made his way back, and as he's fought to get there, he has caught calamity and continues to have problems. So again, caution flag number 10. We're now in the double digits as far as caution flags are concerned, and we still have a lot of racing. If you're wondering where is Butterbean, Brendan Queen, after his problems back at lap number 121, he has worked himself up to the 11th position prior to our Hydraulic Repair Corp choose.
And the other thing that continues to go through my mind, I kind of mentioned it when we hadn't completed an official lap, and we're starting to see some teams that are thinking about this and maybe doing a stop and go is fuel mileage. I got to think, again, we've run so many laps under caution. They have the opportunity to come down and put in fuel under some of these stops, and some of these teams that have been in some of these problems, they've done it just to make sure they're okay. But for Woody Howard, for Cole Bruce, for Caden Quapple, these guys that since the halfway break, they've been out on the racetrack, you have to wonder, is that something that starts to creep into the picture? Because you want to keep your track position, but you don't want to add any unnecessary fuel, but we could be getting close with all the yellows that we've been seeing.
I have to say, we're in uncharted territory as far as that's concerned. We have had a rash of caution flags here early on. Typically, it's in the final 50 laps or so when we start to see the caution flags come out, but that has not been the case tonight. Since we got to the halfway mark, we have not been able to log many green flag laps without a yellow flag. Half a lap or so, we're going to try this all over again. Caden Quapple becomes our 4th different leader of the night. He is trying to make hay in his first Hampton heat alongside a veteran racer, a former champion of this race, Woody Howard, as they come out of turn number 4, and we're back after it one more time.
Oh, man, big stack up on the bottom. Pulliam went down to avoid it, as I think Cole Bruce and Sellers had a little bit of contact as they were shifting from 3rd to 4th. Woody Howard trying to cross Quapple over in 3 and 4, unable to do it.
Here they come. We're going to put a lap on the board, 134 to be exact. The top 3 single file. 4th is mixing it up. What about Ryan Matthews in car number 51? He is working himself closer to the front of the field. This is as high as he's been all night long. Ryan Matthews is another driver to keep an eye on. He's a late model stock car winner here at Hampton, a former Legends champion, although Cole Bruce has been able to slip by. Peyton Sellers will go to his inside. There's your race leader at the end of the back straightaway. Caden Quapple having a solid run, the only driver to turn a 16-second lap. That recent trip around this racetrack, he has a fast car, and he is certainly proving that right now as he has checked out to a good 5 car length or so advantage over the 41 of Woody Howard. Meanwhile, a battle is getting ready to brew for P3, and there you see it, top side of your frame, Cole Bruce versus car number 10, Trey Cruz, who is the highest he's run all night. They get together in turns 1 and 2. They're going to keep it pointed in the right direction, but the drag race happens down the backstretch.
Yeah, Cruz has made and been the beneficiary of a couple of bold moves that he's been able to make on these restarts. His lane's been able to move, but also he just has a car that fires off really, really well as he's going to try to get back down before Peyton Sellers gets there, not able to do it. How about Ryan Matthews running in that 6th position? What a great run that 51 car is having. Oh, Sellers a little bit sideways off of 4, has to collect it to try and stay out of the 10 car of Trey Cruz.
Side by side coming out of turn number 2, Trey Cruz versus Peyton Sellers for that 4th spot. Door handle to door handle, working through turns 3 and 4. And it looks like Sellers has the slight advantage. He's got some scuff marks on the side of his race cars. I tell you what, there's probably not many clean cars left this evening. We have had calamity all evening long, and indeed, Peyton Sellers will now clear the Trey Cruz car. So Sellers will have 4th spot, and look who's back in the picture, Butterbean, inside the top 10. He just took the 8th spot from Lee Pulliam, so Brendan Queen is not out of the fight.
I know, and that's what he would call his self-described brothers for life between these two, Brendan Queen and Lee Pulliam. But they get out, they put the helmet on, and they're competing against one another again. That's a car that Lee owns that just passed him. And Queen, oh man, he tried the crossover on Chase Ferguson, the California driver, who's been awfully impressive so far tonight. Got a little bit of damage on the side of that 22 car for the driver that came from Legends Cars, been running some Pro Late models, but done a really, really good job tonight, staying out of some issues. Is Brendan Queen, my goodness, he's putting those left side tires nearly on the grass, trying to make those moves.
Brendan Queen is on a mission. He was not happy getting caught up in that incident a few laps ago. He is on a charge, fighting to get around as many cars as he possibly can, and he's not wasting any time. He needs to go, he says. He is pushing the go button as we speak. The car gets out of shape down the backstretch, but he's not lifting. He's on the inside of Trey Cruz now for 6th spot.
Man, the fans here are going crazy. They know exactly what he's trying to put together here with 55 to go as he's able to get up into 6th. The problem is he's probably going to need some help to try and chase down some of those cars in front of him. He has one of the fastest cars on the racetrack, despite the fact that he's had to deal with some of the traffic that he's been going through. But does he have time? Again, Caden Quapple's leaving. He's in the middle of the backstretch right now, so he's made up a lot of ground in a very short amount of time.
If I was a betting man, I think we're going to see more cautions here in these final 54 laps. Now make it 53 as our leader, Caden Quapple, has gone by the start-finish line. Brendan Queen not out of it. He is here to fight and possibly pick up his 4th Hampton Heat 200 win. Here comes the 22 of Chase Ferguson. Now he's on the inside of Trey Cruz. This is a battle for position number 7 as they work out of turn number 4. The 22 has the slight advantage. He will try to clear Cruz in turn number 1. Not going to be able to do it. Cruz is fighting back to the high side as Lee Polium looks on. Lee now rides P9, that veteran competitor, running strong after he's been back and forth all night long. And indeed, Chase Ferguson will clear Trey Cruz to take over position number 7.
Yeah, that 10 car, it fires off great, but starting to lose a little bit of that drive. You can see off the corner, Lee Polium going to try and take advantage of it. May have made a little contact there off of turn 2. As Polium, again, a former Hampton Heat winner, 2-time winner of the Triple Crown, trying to get back in this thing again. South Boston did not go his way, and I know he has he cherishes these opportunities. He doesn't know how many of them he has left to be behind the wheel and be a driver. We know he's as talented as he's ever been, and trying to take advantage of that, try to fight for every spot he can.
Indeed, Lee Polium is a wheel man. He has won many, many races, and he is trying to get it done again tonight. We're not going to count him out as well. He is riding at the 9th spot, and look who's behind him. Look who's back, Matt Waltz. Remember, he brought out that early caution flag, or excuse me, was involved in that early caution flag, and he is now inside the top 10 and digging for more here as we're now inside the final quarter of this event. Just 48 laps remain to settle this one as we're watching the 8 of Lee Polium mix it up with the number 10 car. Riding here at Larry King Law's Langley Speedway and the Hampton Heat 200, which is taking shape here tonight as we're watching these cars continue to circle the track. Lee Polium is trying to get it done here tonight. Scoreboard is showing 154 laps having been complete. There's Brendan Queen beginning to close in now. He is getting to the left side of Ryan Matthews. This is 4 position as they work out of turn number 4. Brendan Queen picks off yet another car. That's going to be for the 5th spot as he works off of turn number 2. So Brendan Queen from the back of the pack all the way up, now inside the top 5.
Yeah, it seems the race monitor feed that we're being provided is having a little bit of a timing and scoring issue. They are still able to keep the official scoring here going at the racetrack. So like you said, completed 156 so far here. And trying to see how if Brendan Queen can move on up. Again, he was able to pass Matthews there to get up into the 5th position. And there it goes. 43 laps to go. It'll refresh, puts Brendan Queen up into that 5th position.
Brendan Queen, one of the fastest cars on the racetrack. Next on his hit list will be the Peyton Sellers, the Danville Toyota. That's the next car he is going to try to fight to get around. But as we watch this, Brendan Queen is taking that car in turn number 2. The leader is in the middle of 3 and 4. So without the aid of a caution flag, he's going to have to pick off in a hurry if he wants to catch race leader, car number 88. We're talking about Caden Quapple from Mooresville, North Carolina.
And looking at these lap times, Woody Howard starting to reel in. It's kind of going back and forth between these two. They're pretty even. One lap it'll be Caden, who's a little bit faster. The other lap it'll be Woody Howard. You see that gap, it is accurate. 1.6 seconds right now between Caden Quapple and Woody Howard. The problem is for Quapple, he is starting to get into the thick of that lap traffic that is just going to be ahead of him as we continue this battle for 4th rather, with Sellers trying to hang on, Queen trying to charge, but losing a little bit of drive right now in that 03 car.
Indeed, that is the case. Brendan Queen trying to reload as we're now inside the final 38 laps of this Hampton Heat 200. There is action all over this track as we're watching the cars continue to get around this speedway. There is your 2nd place car. That's Woody Howard, who is losing sight now with our race leader. So Woody Howard's going to try to reload, and he's probably hoping for a caution flag because Caden Quapple is beginning to pull away. About a half a straightaway is what separates the top two. And then you go another 10 car lengths or so back to find third place is Cole Bruce. And you may see him there. You barely see him top of your frame. That's where Cole Bruce rides here as we continue to get it done at lap number now 164 here this evening. And what has been the longest green flag run we have seen in quite some time. So I'm sure Caden Quapple's happy to see that. But the one thing we are seeing now that we are running long green flag laps is he's beginning to catch the back half of this field, including the 0 of Landon Pimpleton, who is in danger now of going a lap down.
Yeah, he got saved by the bell in the middle of that opening run of the race. Don't think he's going to be quite as lucky this time, although that gap it was about 2 seconds to Woody Howard. You can already see getting through some of this lap traffic, it's already dropped to 1.4 seconds for Caden Quapple. So you imagine they're getting the blue flag from Brandon Willard. How quickly do they move out of the way for Woody Howard versus what they were doing for Caden? Again, they were, 3 cars stacked up on the bottom blocking Caden when he got there. Woody getting through this lap traffic much better than what Caden was able to do.
Indeed, he is. Watching the 88 come back now through turns 3 and 4. It'll be 32 laps to go when this one wraps up here tonight. But I got to imagine that we're not done seeing that caution flag, or are we? So it's Caden Quapple out over Woody Howard. He's midway down the backstretch, beginning to close in now to Brandon Lopez, who is in danger now of going a lap down. Remember, multiple drivers got trapped a lap down in the first half of the event, and then we just had multiple caution flags after that. So those drivers took advantage of the free pass and got back on the lead lap, but now the handling continuing to get away from these cars, so they're going a lap down once more in this second half and final set of laps here. Just 30 more remain. 170 have been completed, and look at this, Brendan Queen has caught Peyton Sellers. This is going to be a battle for 4th spot. Less than a car length separate those two as they exit turn number 2. Butterbean knows time is running out. Can he catch and get around Peyton Sellers for position number 4?
See if he can do it. I think Brendan shot out of the cannon knowing that he had to get that track position very quickly, and just as this run has continued to go on, you wonder how much that damage is playing into things as well. Heard that, again, the toe might be knocked out on that 03 car, and how much that's kind of derailing his performance right now, because he caught Peyton Sellers, and as soon as he caught him, he's just started to fade back here a little bit. So maybe used up his stuff just a little too much trying to get back up through the field. He was able to pass roughly 10 cars or so, but it seems that progress is stalled for now.
Despite that bobble, he is still within a tenth of a second as far as lap times are concerned from our race leader, Caden Quapple. There's Peyton Sellers trying to run away from Butterbean here as Peyton Sellers continues to occupy that 4th spot as he swings it low in turns 3 and 4 to get around Chase Burrow, who has just not had the night he has wanted here as we are now in the final 26 laps of the Hampton Heat 200. Race leader continues to be that guy right there. It's the number 88. It's the Jerky Boys CorvetteParts.net Chevrolet of Caden Quapple as he continues to get things done. He just put Riley Music a lap down. Riley lost a lap early on, was able to get it back, but unfortunately has lost it here in this final 25-lap stretch. Looking a little bit further back, we're watching Woody Howard. He's holding on to 2nd spot for the moment, but look who is lurking. Look who is beginning to close that gap. It is Cole Bruce. Cole Bruce is about 3 car lengths back in position number 3. That Club Tells race car number 31 Toyota is closing. Can he get by Woody Howard?
Yeah, it looked really smooth there off of turn 4, and just overall, what an event it has been for Cole Bruce. Hopped in this car a couple of days ago, didn't even know that he was going to be running in this race, comes out very emotional when he wins the pole for this race, has kept his car clean, and this is why, we talk about track position being so important. Peyton Sellers started in the top 4. So did Cole Bruce. So did Woody Howard. Those cars look clean. They're able to survive a lot of the carnage. They weren't around it very much. But, again, Cole Bruce just doing a tremendous job right here, trying to chase down Woody Howard here with 21 laps to go. But it seems like the sand of the hourglass is running out to try and take a real charge here at Caden Quapple, who's checked out now by over 2 seconds. And again, it has a little bit of buffer in terms of lap traffic to play with right now with that 22 car Raleigh Music separating your first two runners.
Indeed, watching now from second on back, Woody Howard's been able to reload and begin to pull away from car number 31, Cole Bruce. And we go a little bit further back. There you see Peyton Sellers with multiple lap cars in between, as we're now within the final 20 laps, 19 to be exact. One of the longest green flag runs we have had here in this race, and certainly the longest green flag run we have had in the second half of the event. There is Brendan Queen, who right now occupies the 5th spot. Ryan Matthews beginning to close that gap in. Ryan Matthews trying to find that 5th spot. He's about a car length behind Butterbean as they exit turn number 2. Butterbean, we talked about how the track bar may be off on that race car, or having some issues, I should say, and he is trying his best to hold on. And if he could get a 5th spot after all he's been through tonight, I think he'd be pleased.
Same with Ryan Matthews. He's got a shot here to try to get in the top 5, with Brendan struggling a little bit here down the stretch. Done a really solid job just staying out of the carnage. You can see a couple of scrapes on that 51 car, but has done a decent job managing his race and putting himself in the right position all night.
Indeed, that is the case here as we continue to wind this one down. Green flag run continues here with 15 more to turn, as we're watching Brendan Queen right now, the final driver inside the top 5. Ryan Matthews right there ready to pounce, trying his best to figure out a line to move or to use to get around the Brendan Queen race car. Race leader Caden Quapple, once he's took command, he has not looked back. We talked about this being one of the drivers to beat early on tonight. He had high hopes, and right now we're seeing why he had high hopes after getting that top 5 finish back in May here at Langley Speedway. His first time here, and this is his first Hampton Heat, only his second Langley start period, and he is making hay. But again, we're not going to give him the trophy quite yet, because anything can happen in these final 12 laps. He is entering turn number 1, and he's about half a straightaway or so in front of Woody Howard here in the closing stages of this one here tonight. 188 laps have been completed.
And again, what a special evening this could be. Caden Quapple 11 laps away from being able to truly celebrate what's been an incredible day for an incredible racing family. And I'm sure Carson right now, now a victor in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series, who drove this ride for Junior Motorsports for such a long time, I'm sure in very similar fashion to what Father Travis was doing earlier today when he was sitting in the infield in the midst of our fan fest that was going on, watching and cheering on his son to that first NASCAR win. I can imagine that Caden Quapple is receiving the same from Carson, who's probably somewhere having FloRacing tuned up to be able to watch what his brother and his father can try to accomplish here, to be able to celebrate not only such a monumental win in Carson's career and the sacrifices they've made to get to this point, but to also cap it off with a marquee win for Caden, who could chase a Triple Crown and is just 8 laps away from taking a Hampton Heat, and like you mentioned, only his second start that he's had at Langley Speedway.
Indeed, that is the case. He is making it look easy. Talking about Caden Quapple in these final few laps here tonight. He has his fingers crossed, both fingers on both hands. His toes are crossed, just hoping this thing can stay clean and green. That is the one thing that Caden Quapple does not want to see. But oh, by the way, all the other drivers in this field would love to see that caution flag come back out and give us a late race restart. But that is not the case here at the moment. Caden Quapple swings it low once more through turns 3 and 4. It'll be just 5 laps to go. The extended palm has been displayed by Brandon Willard to all of the drivers in this field. And right now he has caught the 11th place car of Trey Cruz, and he is trying to put him down 1 lap. But he doesn't really have to do so right now, because he has a tremendous lead over Woody Howard as we are finally winding this one down. 4 more to go as your race leader, Caden Quapple, swings it back to turns 1 and 2.
Yeah, he got, again, a reminder from his father a couple of laps ago. You have over a straightaway of a lead. Don't push it. Just take it easy. And right now, again, he's turning about 17.5-second lap times, but they feel so much longer when you're in this position, roughly 3 seconds up on your competition and 3 laps away from closing out a dominant performance in the second half of this race. There's the Junior Motorsports team watching on here in the final 2 laps, trying to bring the Jerky Boys and LKN Mechanical Chevrolet back home in one piece and in victory lane.
That's right, we're winding this one down here tonight at Langley Speedway. Caden Quaffle swings the car. He'll see the white flag coming off of turn number 4 one more time around, trying to get his first Hampton Heat win in start number 1 in this prestigious event. Midway down the backstretch, comes back to turns 3 and 4. Caden Quaffle will become the first driver in 5 years to win in his first start in the Hampton Heat 200. And oh, by the way, we had a family member, Carson Quaffle, picked up the win at Indianapolis. Caden Quaffle gets it done for the 18th annual Hampton Heat 200. Celebrations down in pit lane for Caden Quaffle, who had a dominating performance in the second half of this event. He'll become a driver like Josh Berry, who picked up the Hampton Heat 200 in his first start back in 2021. Caden Quaffle is victorious here tonight. He'll hold off Woody Howard to pick up the victory in Hampton, Virginia. What a night we have seen in this race, in which Caden Quaffle delivered. Our last caution came out at lap number 133, and another uncharacteristic night in this event because we ran the last several events under the green flag. Caden Quaffle facing the crowd here at Langley Speedway. Last 67 laps were all under the green flag here tonight. 10 caution flags slowed this event, and Caden Quaffle has won here tonight. Car 88 is victorious. Caden Quaffle qualified well earlier this afternoon, started the event just outside the top 10 in 11th spot, but ultimately brings it home in first, was one of 4 drivers to have a chance at leading this race. So Caden Quaffle, one happy driver, finished third in the ZMAX Cars Tour event, his first time ever seeing Hampton, Virginia's Larry King Law's Langley Speedway. Comes back in his second start, his very first Hampton Heat, finishes 2 places better to pick up the win.
And we're down here in Dale Emmons victory lane with Caden Quaffle, who's getting ready to climb out as the Hampton Heat 200 winner for the first time in his career. Gets a cold drink of water from Dad, the crew chief. Travis is down here ready to celebrate with his son. And Caden's going to get a cold drink. Well, let's talk to Travis real quick. Travis, it's been a great day for you, my man. Can you put into words the last maybe 6 hours or so?
Pretty amazing. A lot of hard work, a lot of time and effort, and just really proud of both these boys. 2 incredible race car drivers. They both worked really hard for it. They put in a lot of hours in the shop, and it's a long ways from Millbridge Speedway or running the Bandoleros at the quarter mile at Charlotte, and we just worked our way up every level. And these guys, both boys, they work on their cars day in and day out. Hell of a race car drivers. I'm really proud of them both.
The way I see it, there's 2 celebrations that are going to happen earlier or later this week. And we're ready. Just a second here as we wait for some extracurriculars to take place. And Caden's down here talking with his dad. What a day for the Quaffle family. Carson got it done earlier today in the O'Reilly Series at Indianapolis. And the stage is getting set up down here in Dale Emmons victory lane. We're getting ready to light a trophy on fire. And I think there's some other things that are getting ready to get lit on fire as well, as the Commander-in-Chief, Langley Speedway, Mr. Bill Molis, a handshake there to congratulate the young man, driver for Junior Motorsports, contending for a Cars Tour championship. And the stage is getting set up for this young man to celebrate his first career Hampton Heat 200 victory. What a drive from young Caden Quaffle. And he's going to climb out for the first time, a Hampton Heat winner. It's Caden Quaffle. cold water being splashed on a not so hot night. But Caden, we got to watch Brother Carson get it done earlier tonight, my friend, and now here you are in victory lane. What a day it has been for this family, and man, you added your end to the deal. How about it?
Yeah, it really is a cool night for both of us. Just glad. Oh God, dang.
Teammate actually, Lee Pulliam down here.
Just glad to not let my family down after Carson got his first win, and everyone's saying there's a lot of pressure on me, but yeah, it's a pretty cool night for both of us, like you said. Wasn't really, I guess, expecting it. I knew we were gonna have a good car, and a couple things went our way there in that race. By the end of it, we really had balance where it needed to be in the long run, and at the end, just kind of saving tires, just pulling away still. It's really cool night for both of us. Obviously, he got his first win, so that's huge for him. But for me to be able to win the Hampton Heat, that's also really big for me. It's a really prestigious race, and my first time here at this track for this big event, and it's pretty cool to park in victory lane.
Yeah, there was a lot of attrition there to start the second half. This thing doesn't look like it has a scratch on it. How did you navigate all of that?
Being patient when I could, and just trying to keep tires under me. I feel like the first run I burned them up a lot. I was too tight. I was killing the tires on exit, trying to keep up with the guys in front of me. And we worked at the brake and got it really good for the second half. And from there, I kind of could set my pace once I got the lead. And it was really good. My dad and everyone at Junior Motorsports worked hard this weekend. We made a lot of changes and got it really good all weekend. So I just can't thank them enough. Jerky Boys, Core Personnel, Cam Mechanical, Roto-Rooter, everyone on this car to make this all possible. Dale, Kelly, LW. I'm sure everyone's watching at the O'Reilly race or in Indy. So pretty cool to win for both of us.
Now you're locked into Martinsville. How does that sound?
Yeah, it's really cool. I struggled there last year, but this year I feel like has been a really good, and I've learned a lot. So going to Martinsville for my second time, I feel like I'm going to be a lot better, and just having a lot more laps under my belt and experience is going to pay off.
Keep your eye on the 88. He could be a threat to win the Triple Crown. Caden Quapple gets it done for his first career Hampton Heat 200, Brian.
How about that? $10,000 richer for winning this one tonight. We're talking about Caden Quapple. Unofficially, I believe, will leave here as the Virginia Triple Crown leader going into Martinsville Speedway. We'll make sure we get that updated here in moments. But nevertheless, he had a sixth-place run at South Boston Speedway. Wins this one, giving him an average finish here very low compared to his competitors. So a strong run here tonight, a big run, I should say, for Caden Quapple to get it done. And I think everybody was really looking at Connor Hall, Brendan Queen, which Brendan Queen was able to salvage a top 5, officially coming home in 5th. But I think those were the names folks were talking about, not necessarily Caden Quapple.
Well, Quapple's definitely a name that you can never leave out of the picture, but you got to throw Aiden Millette there too. I mean, with the performance that we saw out of that team and out of that driver tonight, unfortunate that you got a driver who was looking like he could win this race and was in the lead when some contact happened and. Unfortunately ends his night early, but this was a night where you had to find a way to survive, and despite the fact that we had some great race cars, race-winning race cars not make it to the end of this one, that's why we run all the laps.
And I think Caden Quapple's got to be really happy knowing he's going into Martinsville with a solid opportunity. He knows he's going to race Martinsville. Now he has a shot at winning the Virginia Triple Crown.
Yeah, and that's huge. Having that guaranteed starting spot again, we know that this race tonight was crazy. South Boston was crazy. I don't know if there's anything crazier in late model stock racing than the heats to try and get into the Valley Star Credit Union 300. So having that assurance and being able to know that no matter what, yes, these drivers, they don't want to start in the back at Martinsville. It can be a hard place to pass in these late model stocks, so they're going to go out there, they're going to compete. But to have that assurance that no matter what happens, we're still in it, we can still fight to try to win the race. Even if we have to do it from the back, this driver's been doing it all year long in the Cars Tour, and even tonight didn't have the best qualifying effort, but had a fast race car and played a smart hand tonight.
Indeed, he has an average finish of 3.5 between South Boston and Langley. Let's go and hear the thoughts from our second-place finisher, Woody Howard.
Right here by the check shed with Woody Howard. Woody entered that second-place run. Katie got around you, ballpark lap 130 at that point as Cole Bruce comes in to congratulate him on a podium finish. Woody, at that point, did you have anything left? Were you saving and it just wasn't a matter of having enough to get back to him? What was the difference at the end?
No, they were strong. I wish I could have saved a little bit more. The 9 got into us there a couple times. It caused me to slip my tires a lot. We were sideways a couple times. I'm sure that hurts in the long run. The car was excellent tonight. I'll take this as a win. The 88 team, I mean, they're professionals. Yeah, no, I'm happy. Overall, cars ran really flawless for us all night. Just wish some of the racing obviously kind of caught up to us there at the end. And 88 never slipped, so congratulations to them.
A really quick machine for Woody Howard, and we're going to turn our attention to Cole Bruce, who comes home P3. Cole, a lot of people coming in to say hi. Really emotional pole interview. This meant a lot to you and your family. You had to fight a little bit to stay within the top 10 midway through this race and to come home with the podium effort. What's the overriding emotion as you look back on this Hampton heat?
Oh, awesome, man. Like I said, we're fast. Like I said, we had a great car in qualifying. Like the pace there at first, was setting the cruise. Kind of let Woody take over for a little bit. Then the 9 came, and I said, screw this. I'm not burning my crap up. So let him go for a little bit. Rode there, and luckily I was able to hold off third over Butterbean. I think that helped us a lot, and it positioned us, obviously, to miss that big wreck there in the second race. I think we started off fired off really free, and I didn't have a lot of grip, just because I got really tight the first race. So when we were doing that, I was like, okay, I think we need to free it up, and I just had to kind of suck it up for the first 20, 25 laps. Other than that, though, man, like I said, this car was a rock ship halfway through, and just drove on through the field. And like I said, we just got lucky there with that wreck, and that kind of put us back in the top 5. And from there on, man, we were a rocket ship. So as always, this Torp chassis, man, it was super fast. Sure thing for all my guys, man, all of our partners, Club Tails, Flashpoint Logistics, Chesapeake Transmission Auto, Moody's Water Conditioning, Mid-Atlantic Towing. I want to make sure I don't forget nobody. Rocky Run Farm, Caldwell Banker, Commercial Elite, Atlantic Trainer Rentals, all my family watching at home. All the guys here, man, they've been badass working on this thing. So as always, I'm gonna drink Club Tails after tonight to celebrate, and can't hang my head over the top 3. So like I said, it was a little bit rough for the first 25 laps, but we've survived, and I finished third, man. And like I told the guys, if you finish top 3 tonight, that's the win in my book. So. But it's crazy, though. We have good tech fish coming in. You see who the top 5 is compared to a weekly show. So, as always, thank you to Langley Speedway, Bill Mullis, all the tech guys for all they do, and look forward to the next race in 2 weeks.
I think very telling, Brian and Blake, that Cole Bruce framed this as 2 races. Technically speaking, 1 Hampton heat, but it can be so grueling on these drivers that mentally, sometimes they just have to split it up.
All right, how about that? Cole Bruce gets a top 3 finish, third here tonight. Hey, I think one of the coolest trophies in all of NASCAR is getting ready to be displayed now. Let's go trackside for the trophy presentation.
Race fans, it's time to light the coolest trophy in all of racing. Caden, it's
How about it? Look at the trophy. It's on fire, literally, right now for the Hampton Heat.
Yeah, and I think he's saying, man, it's hot. He's enjoying it, though. But yeah, a cool, again, something that's so unique. And, hats off to everybody here at Langley Speedway that have kind of created this theme around this race and this trophy. And, yeah, I'm sure it's an interesting one to try to stand there and take pictures next to, because you're hoping it doesn't blow the wrong way.
That's right, because that's a real fire.
Yeah.
Vaughn Crittenden and team have worked hard. Chuck Hall, Bill Mullis. We just saw Bill down there with the presentation earlier. There's our winner tonight, Caden Quapple, in his very first Hampton Heat 200. Delivers in a big way, gets the victory here tonight. He's going to remember this night forever, I think.
Yeah. Just this is going to be a day that the Quapple family is just not going to forget. They're going to be able to finally get together, I'm sure, in a very short amount of time and truly celebrate this as a family. And again, very deserving people. And like his father Travis said, Carson was a huge part in working on these cars day by day when he was driving them and he was winning races here and in the Cars Tour. And Caden has basically picked that up and picked up right where his brother left off, and does the work on these cars throughout the week. And 2 very talented race car drivers that can take good equipment and win races in it.
Indeed, that is the case. The celebrations continue down in Dale Lemon's Victory Lane. Don't go anywhere. We got more and our closing comments after these short messages. back here at Larry King Law's Langley Speedway. Another name has been added to the Hampton Heat 200 trophy that we are watching here on full display in Victory Lane. There he is, Caden Quapple. Started 11th, passed 10 cars to get the victory. And let's take a look at the unofficial race results from tonight. Caden Quapple gets the victory here this evening. Woody Howard will settle for second. Coming home in third was Cole Bruce. Fourth went to Peyton Sellers, while Brendan Queen rounded out the top 5. Sixth tonight was Ryan Matthews. Lee Polium will settle for seventh after he was back and forth all night long. He'll get a top 10. Chase Ferguson was eighth. Ninth went to Matt Waltz, and Trevor Ward rounds out the top 10.
And again, that's a run for Trevor Ward that could put him in contention. Trey Cruz bringing it home in 11th as we move back here to the second page. Michael Bumgarner, Connor Waddell, several drivers that kind of found a way to fight through some tough circumstances to get up into 13th and 14th. 15th to Riley Music, Brandon Lopez 16th, Carson Lofton, a long night for him in 17th. Landon Pimbleton finished 18th, Chase Burrow was 19th. Blake Stallings finished tonight in 20th, was not able to finish this one. In fact, he did get back out there. It was Aiden Millette in 21st, the first car that did not take the checkered flag this evening. Greg Edwards, Chase Johnson, and Atlee Weiss all scored 22nd through 24th respectively. 25 of Craig Estep in 25th, Jamie York, Connor Hall in 27th, Bobby McCarty 28th, and Chris Horton Jr., who was unable to make a lap here, officially scored in 29th.
I believe Caden Quapple will leave here as the Virginia Triple Crown leader going into Martinsville Speedway, and he's guaranteed to start that race. Trevor Ward unofficially second. He has got an average finish of 6th. Woody Howard unofficially third with an average finish of 7th, but they've got to race their way into that event to compete for the Virginia Triple Crown.
Well, and this is why Martinsville is such a huge wrench in this Triple Crown, because the field's so big, because we know we're going to go there and have we're going to have a full field of cars, so 40 cars. So if you're in position to win this Triple Crown and you go out there and you have a problem early, well, guess what? It's over. Even if you've had, the success that Caden's had, finishing 6th and winning here tonight at the Hampton Heat. So that's why it's the biggest race in late model stock car racing, and why it's such a key component of the Triple Crown. Again, Peyton Sellers was in a good position to try and compete to win that last year. He doesn't make the starting field at Martinsville. That's just something that can happen through the midst of those heats, because they can be wild and crazy. They're not very long, and if you don't qualify well, the sand of the hourglass runs out very quickly at Martinsville.
It indeed does. Langley did not disappoint. A rash of caution flags. We saw a lot of excitement, a lot of beating and banging, cars crashing, but we also saw a lot of great side-by-side racing. And the Quapple family, they're never going to forget this day.
No, it's going to be a special one for them. But the one thing that is, I guess, stayed true in each of my visits to the Hampton Heat has just been unpredictability. And in a way, we saw that play out in the second half of this race. Everybody says first half we're trying to figure things out, and for the most part, that was true. But the second half of this race, as soon as they dropped it, everybody was trying to get everything they could, and they weren't saving their equipment, they weren't saving their tires. I think kind of led to what we saw kind of develop in the second half of this race, where you have some of the best cars that we had out here this weekend were unable to finish this thing.
Definitely not the normal run in how this race plays out. It was opposite of what we were predicting, but it was a fantastic race, and we are so glad you tuned in to watch this exciting event here, the 18th annual Hampton Heat 200, and we have yet another new winner of this event. Well, race fans, that's going to do it for us here this evening. It's been a fun night, and thank you for being here with us, Blake.
Yeah, can't wait to be back next year, and can't wait to get to Martinsville here. It's going to be here before we know it.
Absolutely. Thanks for tuning in. We've had some great coverage down on Pit Road from James Pike, as well as our reporter on a very much a weekly basis, doing a great job as he does week in and week out. For Blake McCandless, I am Brian White. Thanks for tuning in here at Larry King Law's Langley Speedway. A special thanks to the entire production crew who brought you tonight's Hampton Heat 200 on FloRacing. Raymond Haynes was on the cameras tonight, as was Rod Pauls, Casey Kern, and Robert DeZero. Providing production support and keeping the show moving all night long was Vaughn Crittenden and Paul Burnham. And as always, with the control panel, our director, Justin Kern, for Larry King Law's Langley Speedway. Once again, for Blake McCandless, Adam Welbrock, and James Pike, I'm Brian White. Thank you for joining us this evening for the Hampton Heat 200, and we look forward to seeing you at the races soon. Congratulations once more to Caden Quapple and Team 88 for winning the 18th annual Hampton Heat 200. Good night, everybody.
I'm ready to go. Who's stopping me?